and go with the flow. Welcome to Overwatch, and welcome to another episode of Probing the Many. Today we're going to be talking about Boston versus NYXL predominantly, but I also want to talk about like a bunch of different things because the Overwatch League, we're now in, I think we're approaching week 3, I think it is. Yeah, we're just about to enter week 3 of stage 3. So we had the first 2 weeks, and we're past midway through the season. We're coming up to like 2/3 through the season now. So we're starting to learn a bunch of different things. We're starting to get used to like the rhythm of the seasons as well, which I find really interesting. And this season has been a fascinating one, and I completely agree with the point that Sideshow is starting to make. Let me see if I can find the tweet in particular about that Sideshow's been doing, because Sideshow, one of the analysts at the Overwatch League, has been talking a lot about the idea of like map supremacy. Right, so this is Sideshow's Twitter. If you don't follow Sideshow, go follow Sideshow because he tweets some interesting things like Bren flailing around. That's Bren. He's a clown. But right, one of the big things he started talking about was the idea of maps. So if I find stuff here, map Philadelphia, yeah. So this is kind of the interesting thread, right? I thought this was a really, really, really interesting thing. And we'll talk about Boston Uprising soon, as I'm sure there's an elephant in the room, and I'm looking at the elephant, and the elephant's looking at me, and I haven't acknowledged its presence yet, but we'll do that when we talk more about Boston, so don't worry about that. Okay. So Houston have a free win anytime Junkertown is in the pool. Likewise with Boston on Anubis and Volskaya. NYXL are unbeaten on Kings Row and Hanamura. London are incredible at Numbani and Gibraltar. It's time to start thinking about Overwatch more in terms of maps, a la CS. So Counter-Strike maps, like, it's very much known that certain teams are much better at certain maps than others and stuff like that. So when certain maps come up, it's like, oh, well, in CS, I believe they do more, like, map drafting, or there's, like, more map selection process, where in Overwatch League, it's just very regimented in terms of you're playing this. So that map drafting becomes super important. But basically, yeah, certain teams just play a lot better on specific maps. I mean, this isn't a new concept, but in Overwatch now we're starting to see dominance coming out. And especially like when we saw the map pool for Stage 3 here, and it was like, okay, well, the map pool is going to be like Anubis, Volskaya, Gibraltar, not Gibraltar. Where is Gibraltar? Anyway, Junkertown, like Junkrat maps. A lot of Junkrat maps. Stage 2 had less Junkrat maps. Stage 3 has Junkrat maps again. Suddenly, Houston are doing better. How could this be the case? It's a case of like, certain teams are going to do better because certain heroes are better on those maps and stuff like that, but it's also like, okay, well, that means we do need to be careful in considering what maps get played. And the frustrating part is that the system has no like flexibility. There's no pick, there's no ban, there's nothing to do with these map drafts. There's nothing to draft on these maps. So it's like you can't deal with that. If you are bad at certain maps, for example, if your name is London Spitfire and you cannot play Oasis to save your lives, then you're screwed if Oasis is in the map pool, right? So anytime it goes to a game 5, if Oasis is the tiebreaker, dead instantly. So it's like, okay, that's kind of an interesting problem, right? Hopefully, I think this is something that will be changed in Stage 2, or not Stage 2, Season 2. And hopefully this is something they're keeping an eye on, because I know that, like, the basically Josh is pushing for this. Josh is pushing. Oh, excuse me, cough still lingering. Josh is pushing to see that changed and stuff like that. But it's definitely it's an interesting thing to keep an eye on in terms of who is doing well on what maps, why are they doing well on those maps in particular, like what heroes are they playing that makes them strong, stuff like that. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. So I thought this was a very interesting point. The other interesting thing that I want to touch on before we really start the review this week, as sort of like a catch-up, let's catch up with the league a little bit, is this week had a lot of surprising results in it, right? So this is week 2. This is the week we've just come out of. Spoilers if you haven't seen this. Lol. While you're watching this show, you should be up to date. A lot of surprising results. Like let me go to the fancy highlighter mode. Let's go super thick And then let's like pick this out, like this is an interesting result, right? 2-3 to Dallas Fuel. Really? Seoul? Like Seoul Dynasty? Is this the same team? Oh, hello. This is a super interesting result. Spoiler for the game we're about to play. Even this is an interesting result, right? London Spitfire, arguably one of the stronger teams in the league. 3-0 to Florida Mayhem, one of the weakest teams in the league. That means that they drew on one of these maps. That's kind of interesting. Isn't that kind of shocking? Oh, look, Seoul Dynasty losing to LA Gladiators. London Spitfire losing to Philadelphia Fusion. NYXL almost losing to Houston Outlaws. Isn't that weird? Up until now, up until Stage 3, the Korean teams have had a very, very dominant sort of position, right? They've had, like, the top 3 has been NYXL, London Spitfire, and Seoul Dynasty, right? And now, that's not quite as true. The one interesting thing, like the one caveat I'll say is this. Part of this could be that more teams are now incorporating Koreans into their rosters. There are more Koreans than ever before in the league, and that isn't a surprise. I say this literally as someone in chat says, as someone who's half Korean, I hope this stops the Koreans are magically good at esports. It's not that Koreans are magically good at esports. It's a cultural thing. It's a mentality thing. It's how they practice. It's how they train. It's how they scrim. It's how they manage their infrastructure. But it also does cause a lot of tension and stress. And I also think this could be a factor in this, like, contributing to this problem, particularly London's problems, is that there could be like a lot of stress, especially in Seoul Dynasty as well. A lot of stress seems to be building up underneath the team because, they're in like this pressure cooker environment in all this time when they're sort of out in LA for like half a year, playing Overwatch League, practicing God knows how long all day in a foreign country, not really integrating with these countries, and then just like that just builds and builds and builds and builds and builds and builds and builds. And I'm surprised that we don't see more sort of breakdowns, but then Koreans tend not to explode outwards. They tend to like implode inwards. So yeah, it's an interesting thing. It's a very, very interesting thing. And so this week, yeah, this was an interesting week in terms of like, hey, the Western team seem to be doing a little bit better. Whether this continues or not, I don't know. I'd say the big teams to keep an eye on at the moment are absolutely Philadelphia Fusion. Like, Philadelphia have been playing superbly. Carpe has been just playing out of his goddamn mind lately. But as a whole, the team is playing fantastically. They are quickly becoming one of the most exciting teams in the league. Other teams to keep an eye on, Boston Uprising, just performing better than everyone expects. So, yeah, Houston also doing okay. They seem to have bounced back from a shaky, like a very, very weak Stage 2. Stage 3 looks a lot better for them in general. So, Seoul Dynasty continuing to disappoint, shall we say. So, Seoul are like, and London as well, like, just... Like, this was an exciting series, don't get me wrong. London versus Philly always seems to turn into a good series, but still a little bit disappointing from London so far, not gonna lie. People say that team play is more important than player play. Can it be that teams are getting more practice now and able to counter the Koreans? No, because the Koreans still tend to occupy the highest skill slots as well in terms of individuals, and tend to, like, you expect the 4 Korean teams to be extraordinarily synergized. Right. Okay. Houston versus NY? Yeah, like, it's weird. Like, NY didn't look immortal, which you expect out of NY. Let's start the review, right? I've teased enough. We've rambled enough. Actually, while we load into this one, I'll address the elephant in the room, which is the Dreamcasper situation, okay? The Dreamcasper situation, I've talked about it before, and I'll talk about it now extremely briefly. I think that, him getting removed from the league is no shock to anyone involved in any media position. The evidence against him is pretty damning. There's not really much more to say on it than this was a really stupid thing to do, and a really stupid way of getting yourself ejected from a career. Dreamcasper, like, had people considering, maybe Dreamcasper should be on Team USA. Like, he seems really good. And it's like, well, bye. So yeah, this left Boston in a really awkward position. Because they have to scramble now to, like, rebuild their team as quickly as possible. Luckily, they seem to have done that they seem as strong as ever. So it's crazy to me. they've had this bounce back that has been so strong from such a hardship. There was one minor debate that was also happening alongside this, which was that Boston Uprising should perhaps get an extra transfer window. So some people were talking about this idea that, oh, well, if Boston Uprising have lost one of their primary players, they should be able to buy a new one. The reason why that hadn't happened and why that doesn't happen is because it's a dangerous precedent. You don't want teams feeling like, they can just sort of find a reason to eject a player. So let's say you have a player that you don't want on your team. You find a way to eject him, and then you can buy a new one in the middle of a season. You don't want to give teams like an incentive almost to boot people, to cycle them out during the middle of a season. So that's blah, 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 blah. The bounce back says good things about Boston's coaching. I agree, which is usually where people were very critical. Like Huck isn't really coach, he's general manager anyway, so... But it's still strange. I mean, mistakes is a known quantity. We actually played against mistakes a lot when we were scrimming for Team GB last year for the World Cup. Mistakes is like a really, really good player. The only thing with mistakes is he used to choke on LAN a lot. Like, he was known as something of a LAN choker. But his Tracer was phenomenal, and he seems to have stepped up into Overwatch very well. Striker as well. It's no surprise to see Striker doing well. Like, Striker's always been pretty good. So, yeah, like, it's not the biggest shock to see this team, like, doing well. But Dreamcasper was doing so extremely well that it's like, okay, they've lost, like, their star DPS player, but still are moving on strong. Do you think NY wasn't prepared enough for mistakes? We'll find out. But I don't think, like, keep in mind, NY, like, win against the top teams consistently. I think they're prepared for anyone. Hello, Giannis. I mean, there's nothing too interesting about the team lineup so far. Interesting to note there's no Sombra, perhaps, but that's kind of it. I just want to make sure this is on highest quality. I don't think it is. Yeah, there we go, that's better. So, interesting to note there's no Sombra. I kind of, I speculated on this, that Sombra play on Volskaya would actually disappear. Hey, Optics Scrungus OW. What a beauty of a name, welcome. Yeah, like the Sombra play, yeah, it doesn't surprise me. Like, the reason why you played Sombra on these two CP maps was to have EMP every single fight, and with the new Sombra, you don't quite get that. So, seeing people move away from the Sombra doesn't surprise me. I've seen some teams try and force it, and I'm still not 100% happy with it when I see it. It doesn't blow me away. I mean, Mistakes isn't blowing me away at the moment, to be honest. Like, they just need the shot. They just need the shot. Nice little bit of teamwork there, though. Nice that this is just general good observation stuff. Noted, like, this, if you're playing D.Va and you're on Volskaya Industries and you're playing with the Widowmaker, note how this D.Va positions, right? She's right here. When Mistakes peeks round, Defense Matrix comes up and protects. She protect, sometimes she attack. Just go back twice, because it was just nicely done. Just nice, small things. He peeks round, misses. Puts the Venom Mine out there. Peeks round, and then, hey, almost died to the right click, but the D.Va's there. I think Meko is doing the same on the opposite side as well. So this is just slow positional play. Standard could be. Taking the time, waiting for an opportunity. Trace it almost as a pulse bomb. Sabielby actually being quite reserved. This could be a dead Janus if the pulse bomb lands, but no. It's going to bounce the Winston away. Again, they just, like, both teams are just like dancing around waiting for a pick and waiting for the other team to blink, basically. Beauty of a bomb. I like the fact, and I actually really like this just use of Infrasight. It sets the Tracer up beautifully. Tracer knows, hey, my target's back here. Fires off, also a small detail that I hope is intentional. Fires off a clip first. This is baiting out the defense matrix, forcing the defense matrix to get burned, and then goes in for the bomb. Doesn't just go straight in for the bomb. Going straight in for the bomb is a good way to get your bomb blocked. And with that, like, that bomb. I mean, it was a stick. Was it on the Zen? Was it on the Mercy? It was on the Mercy, yeah. So there's no res. And then just several kills come through all at once. Notice that NYXL do not commit resources to this. They know that this is over. They know that that'll be foolhardy. Again, lessons. Hello guys, don't waste shit. And YXL know that they lost that, so hey, let's just give it up. They know that they can stop the snowball here. Notice that Kellex did commit his ultimate, but Valkyrie isn't the biggest deal in the world, and it's well worth it when you're just making a full engagement like that. Note, I think, is the most unrelated player. He seems to be doing okay. Like, it's generally a good sign as a tank player when you don't get noticed. It's as harsh as that sounds. It's genuinely like a positive thing as a tank player, because you generally only notice when tank players are making mistakes, or when they're getting like huge diva bombs, like Poco. But you generally don't want to be noticed, almost. It's a very weak hold out of NYXL. Like, this is very, like, this feels so controlled out of Boston. Like, it feels like Boston are just dictating all of the pace of this game. Right? Mistakes gets Janus. Like, Janus goes in super deep, gets flashed. Notice that, like, this, by the way, this is just good knowledge for a Winston player. This is a Primal Raging Winston. Flashed, fanned, discorded, shot by everyone, dead. You are not immortal. Be goddamn careful. Feels like the trance is a little bit early, but they still manage to get the results off it. They still go aggressive. They go for Meko, get the Diva Bomb swap on him. Arc Valkyries. And, like, this is where NYXL should retake, because they're cycling through 2 support ults and Boston Uprising are not. But they, like, Boston are playing so far back, they're playing so safely during this time, while the tanks are just taking space. And Mistakes is being super covered at the moment. NYXL don't have the Winston alive, so they can't really go super aggressive. And they don't have, like, the aggro DPS anyway to make that happen. So, like, Boston are just playing very nicely. They measured out what NYXL's options were, it feels like, and then NYXL cycled through their options. Boston Uprising were ready for all of them and had no issue just going through the motions and just saying, okay, you're doing your support ults, we'll just hang back, wait, hang around with McCree, Deadeye, boom, okay, re-engage. Very clean. Very clean. It just mirrors the VOD volume too quiet. Turn it up a little bit. The thing is, the audio balance for you guys is different than the audio balance for me. I can actually turn it up here. That should be a little bit louder. I don't want to go too loud with it, is the thing. Do you think the Korean teams just need a 2-month break from Overwatch because they seem burnt out? They've been playing top-level tournaments for so long. Not 2 months is a bit too long. I don't think they need 2 months off. Like, a lot of teams took a week off, but even that, it's a lot sort of frustrated. Like, it also frustrates the Korean players. It's difficult. It's a difficult situation for them, and it's only going to get harder as well. Like, but this is the risk you have when you buy a Korean team, basically. Because, let's take London, for example, right? If you move that team to London and just, like, isolate them even further, because they're not going to be around Seoul anymore. They're not going to be around NYXL. So even the people that they could speak to in Korean, those guys aren't going to be around. They only have each other and, like, the support structure around them. So yeah, it's difficult.
It's like a good little aim practice. You run around, you jump, and you try to shoot all the lamps because you have to hit it, like, right on the top to knock it off.
I shoot all the banners up on the top because they...
Otherwise, let's see. Defensive lineup, offensive lineup.
I just like
It's a cool effect, though. Yeah. It's like when you
Libero T's in the hands, though. Just scouting the roof more likely than not, if he's even going to bother with it.
I understand.
I have no aim.
I understand.
I wasn't. This is your...
And there we go. There's the Widow. Okay. Mirror comps. No Sombras. Final destination. No fun allowed. So again, standard could be Volskaya. Like, slowly take ground, look for pick opportunity, pressure where applicable. See if we can try and find something to put a bullet in. Just trying to spot out the enemy as best as possible. It's a slow map. It's a slow map until it isn't. It's probably the best way to phrase it.
Depends on how much fire you have at you at one time.
2 CP, lol,
Light
snooze.
warms you up a bit. And mistakes, dueling it out with Libero. Libero decides.
I'm just keeping an eye on ult charges. They're relatively similar. Say BLB seems to be getting the better of it. Pretty much the only thing I can really notice.
Up on the point opposite now.
Good start from mistakes though. So NYXL decide to engage before even getting a kill. This leaves Libera a little bit out in the open. Arc is also in a lot of trouble here.
Opposite right now.
There we go, mistakes.
Arc has to back away, so he's just supporting Jonak.
Still trying to
Gets the res. Good stuff.
Boston more or less staying on that high ground, playing around that big health pack. Striker
Beautiful
tries
kill
to
out of
on
Striker.
the outside of the
Didn't even need a pulse bomb to do it.
It looks like New York is going to have to play it a bit cautiously for the
Yep, MY needs to just back out.
Long flank that took a long time to develop. CRUMBLE came around the top
Again, very slow play, but
on the opposite side and tried to
Boston not panicking, keeping it under control. Say BLB seems controlled.
die.
Jonak isn't getting picks. Mistake is staying alive. Got a pick, like got first blood.
Mistakes hitting the shot, so mistakes filling in admirably.
I mean, he's having a fantastic start already. That round and now this round.
This is a good. This is
Mistakes has yet to die.
this looks good.
Skaya, so Gamsu
Now the big thing is just to not get pulse bombed.
all death.
Not get pulse bombed, not get sniped, not get Jonaked.
Gamsu mistakes and Striker with Kelly.
Woolhat comes out from mistakes.
Not bad at all.
Boston gonna play a little bit more aggro because they know where the enemy is, so they can.
Now, actually. Echo picking
Notice that they're not going in too deep. They're just like it's literally just teams now stood for 14 seconds. Widowmaker has pressed Q, bought team 14 seconds. Okay, Q is now over. We can actually resume the game.
They are, and their entire attack is based around either Jonas or Sabiel be getting a kill or the pick.
Jonak, there we go. There's the pick. So now they need to go aggressive before the res comes through.
New York. Finds him
Libero activates his ult.
New York knows this is their opportunity.
That's a big kill.
Arc, though, with the self-destruct. Pulse bomb goes in. No kills for Sabiel.
Pulse bomb, I think it gets forces the trance. I think maybe. Let's double check that.
No, does find Arc, though, with the self.
I mean, you hear the nailed it. Doesn't flash up with stuck, but
Transcendence for Uprising, just trying to keep people alive.
Uprising have to convert this into kills,
Onto Libero.
and they do so.
So far,
Perfect.
there goes Jonak.
Superbly done.
Having his team
Absolutely superbly done.
right now. Neko drops, but Janus goes down too. So spawn advantage goes to New York, but Boston holding.
Feels like MY were just a little bit too slow on the engage.
From Boston, Noah, because they use the self-destruct.
They want to get that D-Mech as well, stall the Diva, but Striker just kills Meko instantly anyway. I mean, the jump off is literally right there, so it's not the biggest deal.
Counter dives them just using the self-destruct from the Diva.
And see, they're creating space for the supports to kind of get back. That
And now we just return to Poke Wars. Welcome to Volsky. Welcome to
Here with the Valkyrie. So
Pick Meta. Mistakes is dead though. That's what the hell happened here? This feels very weird. This suddenly feels like they've changed up the game plan and not for the better.
has their work cut out for them, especially with Jonas taking out mistakes.
that's gonna be
I don't think they can res that.
B6 Boston. They're committed though. They have to try to fight this, and anytime they can use up on the time bank right now is pretty vital. Libero getting a little bit low.
Gets his ult off. This should be NYXL winning this fight.
Pulse bomb ready to go.
Unless something big happens. That's a good start.
Click. Janus goes in. They're gonna track down.
Is the aggro Mercy coming in? 2 kills.
Down as well. So New York.
We'll talk about that positioning in a second and try and figure it out.
But they've only got
That feels like a mistake though. That doesn't look correct. Okay.
fight this
Mistake is going to be
So,
to get back.
this looks really weird. So let's talk positioning. So Boston is setting up like this. To me, that's a counter dive position, right? This is they have the 2 dive pieces in position in place, and they're getting ready to like go in on the back line here. Like that to me is like why you take that position instead of the normal like take under here, and then try and control like this sight line and this sight line. This is okay. We're gonna wait to spring the trap, but for some reason, Mistakes is on his own over here. And he's not over here, like, back here, you know, where, like, there's a bridge back here. He's back here on his own, and he goes, like, in here. No one can reach him. Normally, when you have, like, these Winston Diva positions, they're normally in a place where you can reach the target with one jump. Like, that's what you're looking to do. You're looking to get there in a single movement. So if the Widowmaker was further back, then she could do that, but, of course, she can't snipe from there. So it's like, the Widow can't really be here. The second this gets noticed...
Arc, of course, is going to be here.
It's just Janus, just on his own.
Still has their work cut.
Like, Mistakes can't do shit. he can't do anything. There's no winning this situation. I think a bullet might land from Libero, but honestly, it's done the second that Janus has a lone target there. This means, because the Widow died inside this room, Rez from Calyx cannot reach him. It means that now it's a 6 versus 5. There's just more DPS on the side of NYXL. Boston spring the trap, and then they just counter dive it, and they just go, okay, well, we're just going to try and survive the initial jump. Primal Rage gets used instantly by Gamsu. Okay, we'll just not focus that. Good start with Neko doing that, but Arc comes in, converts the Valkyrie into a kill. I think he actually drew the blaster there. Like, went aggressive with it. NYXL have more ultimates in the bank anyway, and so they just win. Simple. Like, it burned a lot of time. It felt like they just changed, like, Boston just changed their game plan for no reason. They had something that was working, and then they just went, oh, let's try counter dive. Lol. And it's like, you had a working strat. You were winning. I see the Genji come out, mistakes, bring it to 4. Wouldn't be surprised to see Libero change. NYXL really need to get, like, this point on this push, though. Like, they made such a pig 0 that first. Okay, that's a really good start. Unless Calyx can get the res. Calyx has used Valkyrie as well, so he's going to be looking for it. There we go, there it is. Bullets don't land. Someone report this Widow. What the fuck? It's a big res, by the way. Calyx getting that res basically means that NYXL to win this fight would have to use Transcendence of their own. And they weren't really in a position where committing fully like that would be worthwhile. Libero swaps to Genji. Good. I'm glad to see that. The Widowmaker on second point here, it's not the greatest. The sightlines actually aren't that good, and especially with how these teams hold. Like, you'll see, especially like a dive team will hold along the side here. There's no sightline for Widow, basically. Like, you'd have to try and stand here or some shit, and it's just not good. So, yeah, you need something else.
Even if New York does finish point B, they're already going to have like half the time that Boston has in the time bank.
Doa making a good point. Hey, the time's ticking away. Like, Boston are already in a good position. I want to contrast this defensive moment to NYXL, to how NYXL were defending. Remember that, oh, you saw Janus, like, jump in and use Primal Rage and then, like, bounce around. I know Gamsu doesn't have Primal Rage, but notice that no one's actually taking that risk. They're just, like, playing it slow. Mistakes is just trying to build up his Dragon Blade at the moment. He's going to have it, probably. Definitely going to have it now for next fight. All he's doing, he's not really looking to kill anyone, he's just looking to build up that Dragon Blade. Because if he has it, and NYXL engage, and Mistakes just waits, he can easily swing this next fight. That's a good start. Very good start. So now you're going to see NYXL engaging. Come on, tempo. Like, this is your moment, NYXL. Let's look a little bit decisive here. There's the Valkyrie. Defensive trance gets used. This is so slow out of NYXL. This feels slow. I don't know about you guys, but this feels really slow to me. Like, they're getting there, but you can't fight slow in 2CP. The thing with 2CP is this: if the fights go this long, like, if we go all the way back, 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 okay, this is the moment we want. Striker is dead. Striker is dead at 2140. Okay, 2140 is when Striker died. I know you guys can't see the timer because the donation thing is in the way. Because I'm good at streaming. I can actually move this. There we go. Now you can see it. Let's move it down. Actually, no, that blocks where the current song thing will go. Let's put it there. Actually, where can we put it? Oh, whatever. It was fine where it is. Okay, 2140 anyway. 2140. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Engagement. There we go. Engagement now feels like now. So it took about 7 seconds from that death to engage. That's weird. Because Striker's back in the fight. And I know that, like, NYXL could be playing to, like, okay, well, let's play it out and let's try and bait Neko. Like, let's try and bait that Transcendence and force them to do something with that. So we'll play So then you go in and you force the Zen to use trance, and then you're going to do the real engage. But it just felt like they did nothing for about 5 seconds, a little bit of full engage after 2 seconds, and then they engaged. And it just didn't feel like there was there was no urgency to anything they do. And the thing with 2CP is this, okay? If you don't win a fight in 2CP in a decisive manner, you don't win 2CP. Because you get some kills and then respawns come in, and the pro teams like literally practice staggering. They practice how to stagger properly and basically force respawns to come in as best as possible. So it's like you can't do that. You cannot do that.
As a magic voice said, those 60 seconds remaining for New York, it is pretty much now or never.
And yeah, it's do or die now. And it's like Jonak has had this transcendence for ages, by the way.
Saviel be sneak up on the supports, throws it in, doesn't get the stick, doesn't get the kill.
Uncharacteristic from Sabielby.
Defensive Matrix maybe did a little bit of work there, mistakes down there.
Libero gets one, Dragon Blaze, Neko already has the counter. Jonak is still holding on to his, because they're worried about mistakes. There it goes, they forced out, very nicely done by Boston. Boston understand the win condition here. Wouldn't be surprised to see mistakes draw out a Dragon Blade in a second. There we go. Perfect. Win conditions, okay? This is all win conditions. This is all level-headed shot calling. This is all the Boston understanding. Okay. We have a win condition. Mistakes has his ultimate in his back pocket. If we can create a situation where these two, well, especially like this ultimate is gone, but also kind of this ultimate is gone, then we win. Mostly this ultimate, though. They need to create a situation where this ultimate is gone. Okay? They need to get rid of that transcendence. So what do? NYXL engage, because, hey, the clock's ticking down. Galaxy uses Valkyrie just to get out of the way of the bomb, provide more healing, all that good stuff. Very, very nice. First Blood goes on to mistakes. That hurts your win condition. Okay. Transcendence gets used. That could also be used for the res. Yes, it is. So you can use Transcendence to cover a resurrect, brings mistakes back. The moment mistake starts coming back, Boston dive Jonak. Jonak gets pressured out, has to use Transcendence or die. And this actually could be you could consider this a mistake because Ark is alive and involved in the fight. I don't know if Ark has resurrect or not. Was not keeping tabs on that. I think he does. So they could maybe gamble on Ark getting a res there, but like Jonak still just goes, oh shit, and ults. They've been holding this ult for mistakes forever. Instead, now it has to be used as a defensive ult just to keep Jonak alive. Mistakes waits, collects himself a free kill anyway. And then just kills. And honestly, like, those kills are enough. Those kills are more than enough, especially on a Zenyatta. Like, that's huge. You got the Zenyatta, pretty much got rid of, I think, the Diva as well. You really don't win that teamfight at that moment anymore. Like, that teamfight's kind of over. That just felt disciplined. Like, that's the word I want to use. Disciplined. Like, the only one time that they showed a lack of discipline was when they just decided to go in like a silly position and just go, you know what, let's try counter dive for this defense. Rather than continue to do what we've been doing, which has been working so far. And I understand that there's an urge in my mind to... NYXL had the same win condition, that's why the uncharacteristic bomb was the miss, or like the lack of kill on the Zenyatta in general. Like that was, you generally expect to be able to deliver on that point. The bomb is fine, and yes, NYXL had a similar win condition, but it's a lot harder to. You don't expect a Tracer to do that on their own, so you need more you need more than just the Tracer. And it looked like the dive went on the front line as well. Like the Winston and Diva are hitting the tanks, I think, and not hitting the support. So, like putting all of that onto the Tracer just seems incorrect. Let's go. Mistakes getting his big break for like all of the wrong reasons. No mistakes here, as Genji mistakes recorded 3,075 hero damage, 2 Dragon Blade kills, 3 final blows in only 4 minutes. I need context for those numbers. Context, please.
Can lead to some of these snowballs occurring on point. Getting into Numbani, Boston only has 2 wins here.
Boston, like you mentioned, 2. So this is the one where they're going to really need to.
But yeah, I understand like the desire of like, okay, if we keep doing the same thing time and time again, surely they'll adapt and learn and find a way to beat us. But what they were doing was like meta. What they were doing was standard. So it's like that's what they will be playing against anyway. And if you can just beat them straight up, then just beat them straight up. There's no actual need to change it. I think it's a dangerous mindset in my mind to change up your strategy just to change up your strategy. And like, oh, we're going to keep the opponent guessing. Don't adopt a weaker strategy just to confuse your opponent, because you're just adopting a weaker strategy. If you're already playing the expected style, you might as well keep playing the expected style. The difference is if your name is Philadelphia Fusion and then you just play dive all the time. Again, that is kind of the expected style for you. But that's when you just continue hitting people with dive until dive stops working, then you bring out something else. And occasionally Philly do bring out different styles, like in the playoffs. They actually changed up their style quite dramatically last stage, but... Okay. Welcome to Numbani. Interesting map. Very interesting map. This is where we see the Annas come out to play. No Soldier 76 defense, instead we're seeing a Pharmacy on defense. Just mostly, I think, because Libero is just a beast on Pharah, so why not? Pure Dive out of Boston Uprising. Although Pure Dive with no Lucio, but with the Mercy instead. Biggest questions I have is where is Boston going to go first, and how effective is Libero going to be? In my mind, basically Boston need to get a couple of kills very quickly, otherwise Libero is just going to fly super high in the sky and then be A-OK and kill everyone repeatedly. So yeah, just pretty standard dive, standard defense as well against that dive. So if, just instead of me just saying, oh, this standard, like let's explain what standard is. So normally you would expect the Anna, for example, to start here. So this is also where you'd have a Soldier 76. You generally have the tanks floating around this space as well. The dive will usually go in aggressively onto like where the divas come from at this point. And go aggro on this spot. What ends up happening is the Anna and Soldier and everyone drops down, and so you'll see the Anna in a second or two is down beneath, down here. And you can basically play from this position defensively and just try and stay alive, weather the first storm with a dive, and then you start a counter punch on the stuff coming in around the low ground, and you can start, especially with the Pharmacy, you could just start raining death from above. Because nothing's really going to pressure that Pharmacy. So you can see the Anna, you saw the shot, the Anna's down here. Meanwhile, Boston are going to try and take up, like, they're going to try and set themselves up for another attack, but they've sort of ended up in this awkward position here. And this is sort of the danger of running the Genji Tracer. Because sometimes you'll see teams run a Soldier. The advantage of running a Soldier is you put the Soldier up here at this point, because NYXL had to pull back so far. You put the Soldier up here, and suddenly you control, like, all of the point in a really decisive way. So that's sort of the advantage that the Soldier will give you. Neko gets knocked off, apparently. Like, this is the danger, is like the only thing able to deal with Libero is the D.Va. So the longer these fights go, the more that Pharmacy is just going to ramp up and deal damage.
Yeah, take a look at Libero here. Now, this is a defense that takes a lot of coordination because you have to cycle your tanks on the point. So what you get here is you get tons of healing. You know, Jonak on the Ana and the Mercy, tons of healing.
Yep, so they're talking about the sort of the stall on the point as well, because there is a danger where you end up not having a tank on the point because they can just sort of control this space, because you basically cede a lot of this territory. So what Monty's talking about at the moment is the idea that you basically have to cycle your tanks appropriately. So you have to have like the D.Va come in, stall on the point for a little bit. Well, the Winston normally does it first, drops down, goes to the point, stalls it, bounces out, D.Va comes in, stalls point, bounces out. And you can keep the tanks alive because you have Mercy Ana, and that's like the highest healing output in the game.
Now, this is a defense that takes a lot of coordination.
I've seen multiple times that Tracers throw bombs on to finish low hit point targets like D.Va on less than 200 hit points instead of just shooting them. Isn't that a bit of a waste? No. Pulse bomb, like you can pulse bomb to confirm a target's death is nice. What that also lets you do is you throw the bomb and the Tracer just continue, like find something else to do, basically. This is the disadvantage of Ana, of course, is that one bubble like completely cucked it. Oh god, I thought that went on like a Tracer or something. Dragon Blade out of mistakes though. This is where it gets scary because they have no good answers to this. This needs to turn into kills. You see that NYXL is just going to back away. They know that they can't fight this basically, and then they're going to try and re-engage. using the Valkyrie, but it's not quite enough.
Got it all the way already. Arc and that Valkyrie. Oh, Libero nearly down. Opportunity, and there we go.
So NYXL made a choice. Like, this is an interesting thought process from the team, okay? So Janus goes in, creates some space, occupies territory again, buys a little bit of breathing room for the team. He's got the Primal Rage on, he can sort of go and be annoying on the point. Gets burned and focused down anyway, because basically Boston just kind of ignore it, and then just still have the tanks like holding here, pressuring down the Ana, blocking the shots, whatever, the Winston's over here. Makes it hard for Janus to get any real support. Could also be Janus fucking up a little bit. Going a bit too aggressive or not finding the right targets. Mistakes draws a Dragon Blade. Now this leaves NYXL in an awkward position because you don't have Transcendence, you don't have Sound Barrier, you can't actually fight the Dragon Blade. You only have Valkyrie, and Valkyrie doesn't stop Dragon Blade killing people. Especially against like an entire team's DPS. So NYXL just go, whoa, shit, we gotta back away. We're out, boys. We can't stay on this point. And then by the time they can get on the point again, it's just like Meko just sort of scrambling onto the point. They're trying to re-engage using Valkyrie, but Boston have set themselves up beautifully. They've already pressured down the tanks enough. Janus is missing as well, so now all the focus is on Meko. Meko dies. Oh look, Janus is back. Now all the focus is back on Janus. Dead. Barrage, but oh look, there's a trance. Lol.
I mean, you trade the barrage for the Transcendence. That's not bad if you can hold the point here. But Jonak and Arc are down again. Boston Uprising making a short.
See that they're having trouble finishing their dinner? Now they're doing it. Libero just drifts close to the floor, has to contest, dies.
And Boston reading it that time. So you'll notice what happened is they waited for the nano boost onto the Winston. So even with the introduction you were getting, as long as you focus the tank that's
London and Philly basically never on fire anymore. I don't think you need a fire player, it just adds flexibility. I would agree with that statement. I don't think you need one, I think it is nice to have. Fire, especially now that Oasis is in the map pool. Like having a fire just gives you options. Doesn't hurt. Mistakes, yeah, it has another one, Jesus. Very nicely done. Libero swaps off onto the soldier. I wouldn't have mind seeing the soldier from the start. I mean, the fire could have worked. Just needed more kills. Mistakes just... This is very nice. This is good ult tracking and just good work by Mistakes. Mistakes is what we call desynced. Jonak, like, this is very unusual for Jonak. You know, he doesn't have a Transcendence. That's weird. It's a weird situation. Mistakes is good to go. Like, he's managed to build up another one. That's very, very good. Because it means that this entire section is now kind of free. They just go aggressive, throw in the Dragon Blade, get a couple of kills, and then they can just keep pushing this on.
Looking for more targets on the outside. Mistakes trying to finish off Jonak here, but he got the health back and he's got the mercy healing, but it's not enough.
Beautifully done.
Dashing through Arc and Strikers right there to get the finishing blow.
This is the danger of having to do these swaps, by the way. Like, this is the downside. At first point, Ana. I think if you're gonna run, Ana, I think you should run Soldier for the extra healing and like the extra survivability. I'm not sure on the pharmacy necessitating the Ana still, because this means that Boston Uprising can just like they have 2 support ults still to cycle through to win this fight, so they can just focus on doing that, which is all they're doing. Jonak can re-engage on this. It's fishbowled. Bop. There's the trance. There's the re-engage. Boston just needs to stay out of line of sight to survive. Beautiful pulse. But honestly, Boston, let it go. Let it go. You have a Dragon Blade, they don't have support ults. You win next fight. Easy. Yep. Mission accomplished. So the theory now is you set Mistakes up for another winning Dragon Blade, because they had to use Trance to re-engage in that fight. If Mistakes gets in, gets Jonak, gets Libero, then they can just win. That's the key, right? That's the victory condition here. You set up that win and you go with that. The hard part is that Sabielby is a beast, so Sabielby finds his way in. And this is why Sabielby is just so sexy. Because and this is why I call Tracer the agent of chaos, because any other hero, I think you would like Tracer keeps the game spicy and interesting. And so you can see Sabielby's just like he's looking for angles, manages to get a kill on like one clips Neko. Beautifully done. And that's a huge kill, and NYXL just put pressure on the front.
New York changing up their tactics slightly, so
This is also the advantage of Jonak.
Boston's been very focused
I actually, like, okay, Jonak is on 80% now.
waiting for an engage.
It's just like the start of this fight. Like, Jonak was behind Neko.
Let's go for the one clip.
And I know that Neko is like the first one to die here. I want to just like go back to the end of this. Like, Neko's on 10%, Jonak's on 10%. They're about even.
Kellick's right.
And you'll just see Jonak pulling ahead, 15%. Right, and I'm just going to keep skipping forward. 44, hey, they've about evened out, 50%. Dead. They go aggressive, and then Jonak just builds a shitload. Just continues to build, and build, and build. And now, he's resynced with mistakes.
We're jumping on the New York supports, and this time
So now the victory condition is to shift. Because they have to worry about this. They also kind of have to worry about this still.
around the edges trying to get a flank in more effectively, and Sabielby's coming back around again.
Yeah, that's right. Another stick comes in onto Meko.
It's a nice kill.
Meko taken out by mistakes in the end. Valkyrie used by Arc. There's a
What?
transcend.
Okay,
Sabielby's coming. They're just trying to poke around the edges, trying to get a flank in more effectively. And
where are New York? Hello?
just trying to poke
New York?
around the edges, trying to get a
They're
flank
contesting with Diva on the point. Okay.
effectively, and
Strikers, you notice that Strikers looking for Sabielby now.
coming back around again.
Yeah, that's right. Another stick comes in onto Meko.
Boston dives super deep looking for kills. Janice is just on that back line hunting people.
Mistakes in the end. Valkyrie used by Arc. There's a
And now NYXL come back in.
layer the support ultimates a little bit.
Sights comes out, Dragon Blade comes out.
Ults expire. The Dragon Blade is drawn. Mistakes. Trying to do some damage. See if he can get the D-Mech.
It's an interesting choice.
At least. Meanwhile, Sabielby finds the Boston Mercy in the back. And New York still going to get a lot of kills in this fight. Gamsu pops a primal race.
Some very interesting choices made.
Over at this point, unless mistakes can get a lot more than just that kill. On
Okay. Okay.
fire that they do.
So,
Just trying to get a flank and
NYXL have adopted an interesting defensive position.
supports. And
Okay, it's kind of difficult to see. Like, this is where the overhead map will be super useful.
around the edge, just trying to get a flank.
I'm just trying to like get an angle where we can even see where NYXL are, because NYXL are nowhere near the point.
Sabielby's coming back.
It feels like if Boston Uprising just mob Meko here instead of doing all the fancy shit. Like, Meko goes down, Meko's killed, and it's like NYXL have to re-engage completely just to get to the point.
Meko taken out by mistakes in the end. Valkyrie used by Arc. There's
Trance gets used straight away. Neko just gets fucking abandoned because everyone in Boston gets so horny
they do get the D-Mech.
that Janice is just like left on like. This is so weird. This is so weird. It feels like Boston just sort of, you know, walked into a trap card here. It's like all Boston had to do was like take this spot. That's all they have to take control of. Instead, they like go super deep because like NYXL are all back here, biding their time. And so like 5 members of Boston go all the way in. Neko just gets shit all over again because they've just abandoned him.
Meko taken out by mistakes in the end. Valkyrie used by Arc.
NYXL burn both their support ultimates to re-engage.
Layer the support ultimates a little bit.
Libero goes in with sights, like draw sights, like look at where Libero, look at this positioning. Right, he's nowhere near anyone. Who's he hurting? How's that contesting the point over here? How's that involved in this fight? But it is. And it's like mistakes realize at this point. Okay, well if we just clear this shit off the point, then we just win. But everyone on Boston's so horny for the soldier and so horny for the backline that
D-Mech, he drew out the self-destruct at least. Meanwhile, Sabielby
weird,
finds the Boston Mercy in the back.
weird,
New York still
weird
getting a lot
fight.
of kills in this fight.
D Gentleman. Want to say your VOD reviews have been super helpful for me this season as I've climbed from mid-gold to low diamond this season. Thanks, man. You're more than welcome. I know I haven't been good at uploading them to YouTube. I actually set 2 up. I set the 2 we've recorded this week up. So one of them should be on YouTube already, and the other one will be out tomorrow.
There weren't any tanks there, so the trance was only to buy time.
It was just weird. That was a weird fight. And it feels like Boston were like weirded out by that as well. And just sort of activated New York's trap card.
Boston Uprising, they just have a little bit left to go on point B.
Neko, oh no. Neko's probably going, not again! Please, please no more. Okay, good. Team actually peels for Neko this time. I mean, they still have an advantage here. Like, they can convert this Transcendence into kills if they play this right. If the dive is good, then just go, 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 go. Trance, kill, 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 kill. Libero should be dead, but Libero's surviving. Why is Libero still alive? How is Libero still alive? Jonak gets another trance, because Jonak's a fucking god. This is a discorded Soldier 76, with like 4 people diving him. And he just runs away. He's okay. Oh man. Not only does he get away, he kills Striker. What a boss! What a fucking boss! Jonak is insane, by the way. He's already 33% on another one. That was... Ugh. Ugh. It feels like NYXL, they know how to bait Boston in terms of their dive. So it's like Boston go, we're gonna dive and we're going to dive the back line. Like, no matter what, we are diving the back line. And sometimes they need to realize that they can just kill the front line. Like, that's what that feels like to me. They don't seem to realize that they... Sometimes, if the backline is like so far back, it's playing so defensively, they're playing a Soldier 76 super far back, super defensively, you don't need to actually go and dive that. You can actually just go and pressure the tanks out, clear the point, and then they have to come to you. They have to come to you.
Rather than the attempt to sort of shoot from distance and control the choke points like you would see with the Pharah. Right.
Funny thing is, the Boston got held on this point against NY in Stage 1. History repeats itself.
New York Excelsior put themselves in a position to
NYXL playing dive, Boston playing this is what I would consider this to me is standard Numbani. Okay? This is interesting, but not too unusual. Sabielby, like, it's no surprise to going up here. If Sabielby is going to be playing, this is a lot like the Soldier. You set him up on the balcony. You basically take control of the point. It's just this is a little bit more vulnerable, but is better at killing traces. So, hey. So they're going to set this up on the high ground. Libero's going to find an angle to spam on. Try and push the enemy team back a little bit. That's the weakness, of course, of the McCree. So yeah, they can get the res, but no kills so far. So like this is kind of a demonstration of the concept that Soldier 76 is better at medium range than McCree is. Just like McCree has more cover here, right? But Mistakes is just rattling out damage. And the only way that we can really assess damage dealt is with ult charge. You can see like Mistakes has done so much more than Sabielby has. Piney ain't. Let's put it that way. But during, like, to me, the big thing with this is that play there to get set up on the balcony is, in my mind, a bit of a distraction play to just let Libero have time to poke. You're basically giving Libero some breathing room, making them focus on this pack of 4, and then you just have the Pharmacy, like, raining rockets onto the position that the Soldier 76 wants to be in. If that doesn't end up happening, then the Soldier can just shoot freely at the McCree and has all the support and all the healing, and that's really good. Of course, Jonak does Jonak things. Notice, again, I highlight this to all the Zenyatta players out there. This isn't so much aim. I mean, it is aimed, but this is also just good placement of shots. He knows, you can sort of see, like, you can spot the Ana, you can sort of see her there, right by the play button. Well, he just knows this angle. He just knows that this is, like, a good angle to get a shot in. It's safe, you have a lot of cover, you just put the bullets down here, just sets up his shot. Beautiful. Like, supremely well done. And it's just holding angles. And so conventionally, also beautiful, like this is the advantage of Jonak. This is such the advantage of Jonak. Oh my god. You don't do this with like a Zenyatta that's worse than Jonak. The key thing here is that hit, like if we look at ult charge, before that hit and after that hit, 70%. Free 12%. Couple of headshots, 12% ult charge, builds up, builds up, builds up. Mistakes, ready to go. Neko gets res, ready to go. Most Zenyatta's wouldn't be able to keep pace with this, especially as we saw Mistakes do a lot of damage early on. He just wasn't pressured out at all, so he just landed tons and tons of damage. This visor, this nano visor, could absolutely end this push. Like, could destroy it. But because Jonak's so good, he has an ult ready. And oh, feels bad, man. He's just gotta leave.
And that's 2 ultimates blocked just with the Transcendence.
Very, very good. Like, Jonak is astonishing.
New York has 5 minutes to get to the end of point B.
That's a problem for Boston.
Libero was super quiet during all of that, though. Like, that felt like a mixture of tank play, Jonak, and just, like, Boston getting picked, unfortunately.
It's going to be a problem for them. They at least still have the Valkyrie. Maybe Stryker can hit a big
Feels like both Sabiobi and Libero just weren't really a big deal in that.
zone them out for quite a ways with this Deadeye.
And I'm sure like they were contributing, but again, it didn't feel like the DPS made the big difference there. It is unusual in Overwatch, shall we say? If there's any team that knows the power of like a McCree with space, it's New York because they play Pine. So hey.
Heroes right now, they're happy just to sit on this ult bank and get as much movement on the payload as they can.
I've got quite a bit already.
Nanovisor is a risky combo these days. It's the same as it always was, to be honest. It's just you don't expect the Zenyatta to get that ult that quickly. No, it has to just cycle his ultimate. This is a dangerous Deadeye angle, by the way. Sounds like something you patent. The dangerous Deadeye angle. Surprised that he doesn't Deadeye here. Genuinely surprised that he doesn't go for the Deadeye. Because Kellex is like, after the 2 shots, Kellex is down to about 100 hit points. This is like a second. Maybe he's a little bit nervous about getting killed. Maybe he's... I don't know. Either, to my mind, you either go all in there or you already are backing out. It just felt like a weird half-half.
Defense from the Boston uprising. Sure, you had to use the Valkyrie, but you can still make some moves.
It was risky when you had to worry about twice as much defense matrix. Amen to that. Come on. It's like a drop of coffee left in this. I need it. I need it. You should expect Jonet to get ults that fast? Probably, but... It's weird. He's a weirdo, is Jonek. Yeah, I'm expecting Libero to get some work done as Monty talks about grinding the payload. But the Doomfist isn't in it. It's not as... I think it's just like a Reese's bongo. I don't even want to think about grinding that. Oh, juicy, spicy. She doesn't have sleep dart. Yeah, you could just dump this barrage on her. Like, notice this. Notice this. That's a sleep dart. Could you just press Q here, to be honest? Might have killed yourself on the sofa. If you press the Q a little bit earlier, it'd actually be okay. Could rest that. So 76 on the high ground. Proving to be important again. Nano boost. Being a bit damp, I'd say. That's a big res as well, by the way. Like, that is... Again, like, this Mercy Zen combo is so nice. Because it pretty much guarantees your res. Because now that Janus is back in, that's difficult. And like this nano boost is just like that's literally the description of the nano boost. Is
It's a good hold for Boston.
Jonak stayed alive though. Sleeping on the job. Can't take a nap there.
it just like in my mind the reason why I'm making a stupid noise with this nano boost, despite like Boston, doing this hold. Okay, the reason why I'm making a stupid noise is there any difference between the Winston and D.Va doing this with a nano boost and without? Is there any difference at all? Gamsu maybe dies, I think is the difference. But Gamsu would have jumped out earlier regardless. A Striker comes out with a miracle. Mistakes is in a good position, is untouched, so gets kills. Looks good. Possible Ana buff, she shoots through already healed friendly characters. That'll be nice.
Pushing New York back. 2 minutes remaining.
Yeah, that would be quite nice. I would like that.
Going back in the Uprising's favor, considering they have a Valkyrie yet again.
I think that they are just. I think they are very concerned with Anna because if you buff Anna's ability to deal damage a little bit too much, what ends up happening is the Anna just replaces
Welcome
McCree.
to Overwatch,
Beauty of a
my
sleep
silly.
dart. Oh shit. Dominic Knox.
Over a year of great content, less than 3.
Thank you so much, my man. Makes a big difference. Really does.
Swapped off the soldier. On board with Striker as he
Thank you for the 14 months. Good lord.
Libro's on a long flank. He really wants
Give that man his 14 ohm hypes that he's due.
and the soldier are
So swapping up.
found by Striker.
Like, I'm glad that they've ditched this Farah.
I mean, Striker's playing back. He's playing a very defensive.
Notice
Really
the instant this Farah goes away that, hey, they've picked off the isolated mistakes.
found by Striker. They know where he is.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, Striker's playing back. He's playing a very defensive.
Very good start. Nano boost goes out.
The aggression here mistakes gets rezzed by Kellex. Not getting killed with the nano boost on the opportunity. Well, he finds Jonak on his own. Big problem. They're gonna force a trade.
Like, come on, Nano boost.
Sounds reasonable.
Oh.
Very close to the end, though. This is a fight that Boston needs.
I don't know why Neko's still on this goddamn hero.
Mistakes is back up, but Jonas is there
He's still on the Anna. Why are you still on Anna?
trying to use this.
He doesn't have a good run out.
The last few kills.
He's got one of the slowest rollouts in the game.
Out, but they need to get back onto the payload. It's so close. Nearly there. Just 3 meters remaining as Boston scrambles to try to hold this one. Oh, but they lose.
New York are
mistakes
gonna win this
again.
fight.
Everyone just can't
New York
get on
should
the
win
payload
this
at the
fight.
moment. Sabili goes around the back, gets Kellex. Just
Kill the, please kill the Diva
Jonas
before she gets another mech. Thank you, Meko. There we go.
get a sight line to heal.
Wow, it was
Does it close though, very close. Get a
Okay, I'm gonna very quickly check as quickly as I can.
close to the end. Was it?
Yeah, Neko. Yeah. No wait, this. Yeah, no, this isn't the final fight. Neko dies here. This is when the man needs to swap. Okay, he needs to swap. He needs to ditch the Anna at this point.
They put the nano boost on Gamsu as well. He finds Jonak on his own. Big problem. They're gonna force a transcendence. Gamsu
Because-
uses the primal to fight. To pick up so close. Scrambles to try to hold this one. Oh, but they lose mistakes.
Oh no, he needs to swap even earlier. Like,
good job. Can't take a nap there.
Not a time for naps. Soldier 76. Pussy.
the sleep dart is good, but I would much rather have the Zen. The issue with Anna again is that she makes your ult economy so difficult. Like you have to get the nano boosts have to force enemy ults. It's the only way to do it. It's the only way to do it. Anna should have infinite ammo and the same cooldown time as Brigitte. Yeah, put sleep dart on 5-second cooldown, please. That feels fair and fun. And you should just have infinite heal grenades as well. Because if Brigitte can have infinite sustainability, then why can't Anna? Is Baguette balanced? No. Or balanced? Maybe. Fun? No. Like, balanced is an interesting statement because technically she could be balanced in a 6 versus 6 scenario because she just, like, her healing output is so minimal. That you basically, like, you really feel you have less healing at times with Brigitte.
Got some subs actually coming. Few changes.
Oh, how new came out how they changed their and the response
So it's,
from moving
is this the Boston attack?
and all use his trance on the point. And the response to this is while they're going after Neko, watch how Jonas
Yeah, like this is the
Welcome
weird
to
attack.
Overwatch, my silly.
This, so I'm glad they're showing this.
Cheers
Hey,
to 40 weeks of great coaching content.
you're welcome, Rumple Dumble. Welcome. So this is the weird attack. This is the one I want to see. You can see, like, the backline is all the way back here. Note is just holding on to the point. Sabiobi's just harassing the backline, and Janice is just going to go kill Neko. And you'll just see Boston, like, get so horny for this backline.
talking about how they changed their tactics. What I want people to watch here.
They turn around, they put pressure on Meko,
They'll be going after Neko. And the response to this is
and then, like, the support ultimates come in, but meanwhile, Neko's just done.
going after Neko. Jonak has to use his trance on the point just to keep the cart from moving and to allow the resurrection.
Like, the soldier's so far back, not involved in this fight. Dragon Blade gets drawn. Like, Gamsu and Striker are, like, all holding this off. Like, the core, like,
While they're going after Neko,
Libero is just putting up so much pressure despite not actually doing much. Like, he activates Visor all the way back here. He literally can't see the point. Okay, from this position.
just to keep the cart from moving and to allow the resurrection onto Meko before Jonas.
And you can see, like, Striker's confused about where he needs to be. The DPS are confused about what they're doing. It's just, ugh.
Because Arc had
He's back. Help.
However, the big difference for Boston was that it was the Pharah.
It is suggesting to restore health on target. There's like nano boost, like the idea of like refreshing cooldowns and stuff as well has been put forward. There's a lot of ideas you can have with like making nano boost better. I don't think making nano boost better is necessarily the key with Ana though. Like Ana has her uses, she has her functions. It's just she makes the game complicated because she has an offensive ultimate while other supports have defensive ultimates.
On the Lucio.
And losing that powerful defensive ultimate makes your life very difficult. And rather, like, in my mind, to make Nano Boost powerful, you would have to make it so that it could reliably beat Transcendence and Sound Barrier. Like, you can kind of beat Trance with a Dragon Blade, but generally what you'll find is, like, you have, like, Nano, you know, you'll have Nano either Blade or Visor. Like, these are the big two, right? These are like the big two DPS combos. Hey! No assets, thank you.
One amongst the many.
818.
I think probing is some of the best content you've ever created. Keep it up. Also, karaoke stream sounds godly.
For fact, I was thinking of cancelling this series before Overwatch League started because it wasn't getting any views, but now people are interested in esports and I'm happy. I love doing this. This is actually the most fun I have generally. So Nano Blade and Visor, right? Like these are the standard combos, right? But they're generally like mitigated just by Trance. And so it's like you can beat this, but it's like rare and it's difficult and like it doesn't work against anything with more than 200 hit points. This definitely doesn't work, and it's just like ugh, and it just feels icky. Yeah, maybe make Nano Boost give us target speed boost. Yeah. Okay, Pine. Big boss. Boss. It's actually a big boss. So let's not even remember the basics of CQC. This is Snake Eater himself. He's still in a dream.
Boston already has taken over the point, though, so now New York has to push back in.
Pretty much. They're gonna do that.
So the Widowmakers are important, but Boston have just done a good job with their tanks just getting onto the point straight up. So we'll just get there and just occupy position.
Just a little bit. Jonak taking the high ground there, not really opposed. They're gonna get the DMAC on the note as well. So Boston down a tank to start things.
It wouldn't surprise me to see NYXL do very well here, by the way. Like, Sabielby, just blow for blow, is going to be better than Striker. Pine is likely to be better than Mistakes. You haven't really seen much of Mistakes, but Pine is a hit scan god. So it doesn't surprise me to see NYXL just coming out on top here, because this is where, like, Pine just landing shots. I mean, Mistakes has done more damage. But so is Sabielby, and like Sabielby is just going to continue hunting and killing stuff. And the more Sabielby gets away with, the easier this gets. So yep. Instant capitalization on that. So sure, Calyx gets the res, but that also means that Calyx isn't healing. Cheeky pulse bomb. Doesn't, like, goes through Winston, apparently. Feels bad.
Either way, New York holding the point for the moment. Meko finds Mistakes now. And this Widowmaker's not been working out super great for Boston.
Yeah.
Not yet, but New York is doing
I mean, this kind of happens on Ruins when one Widowmaker just gets momentum, and especially when that team is just stronger as a whole.
which meant that the low ground didn't have any healing on it, so that's when New York strikes.
It gets so difficult to sort of start making a comeback.
Mono just goes ahead and uses Primal Rage.
And like this is aggressive positioning out of Pine.
Flying high, looking for the shots, doesn't find the one on the strike he was looking for. Now the Valkyrie.
Also, the issue with that jump is it does leave you in kind of a really shitty position. But like Gamsu's just like trying to push Pine up, but he's just literally pushed Pine to safety.
Point now, Pulse Bomb goes in. No kills with that one. Note finds the kill on Mono. And there's a transcendence from New York.
Okay, going Boston's favor slightly. Trance gets used.
New York still holding the point for the moment. Now that Mistakes is going
New York's tank's starting to come to the fore. Mano should die here. Doesn't die here. Does die here now. Okay.
Mono's gonna fall, so now with Mistakes coming back up, there may be an opportunity for Boston to retake right here, especially as
Boston need, like, well, the Boston need to retake here, but they also have, they need to try and do it without burning this Transcendence.
gonna get flipped probably just around at 99%. See how long they can hold.
So it looks like they've done it.
Like it'll get flipped
Yeah.
now, but
NYXL just give it up because they've hit 99%, so that's fine. Question about the shock. It seems to me they're forcing new players on their starting roster just because they're new. They were much better with Baby Bay and Dante, but because the coach wants to accomplish by doing that, they're worse now. Giving them experience is fine. Like, the thing with Shock is they have a very young... Like, they have a lot of young players in general, so giving them more showtime is fine, especially in the first season. They could just be playing a long game, basically, and just saying, okay, what we're going to do is, like, this is literally Season 1, we just focus on training, not making complete fools out of ourselves, which they haven't done so far, and then go from there. But, like, no one... The biggest issue Shock has is that no one gives a shit about Shock. To be honest. Like, they are... I mean, when me and Sty did, like, a retrospective at the end of the first stage, like, we both literally had the same thought on Shock, which was that we don't really have thoughts on Shock. They're just boring. They're sort of below middle of the pack. They don't really have hugely interesting players. Like, Dante's kind of... sort of interesting. It feels like they're forcing Sombra a lot as well, if I remember correctly. They tend to just, like, play Sombra and everything, so... I don't know. By the way, NYXL are all really good at ruins. This is NYXL's territory.
That's just probably going to be the first point here. Yeah, New York only gives up 33%.
Has there been a huge scandal in Overwatch League yet today? Not yet, but there's still plenty of stream time. Keep your eye on Twitter. I'm sure... I don't know. We found out that finally we'll learn that Boombox murders babies. I don't know. Like, something horrible will pop up. You see Hardblue begging for a job? Bless him.
So they can't peek while his tanks contest the point. So it's this ultimate is
A
so impactful.
gimmicky Roadhog player struggling for a job in current meta, really?
Your tank line at the same time.
I tease because I love.
Nice work by Pine. He doesn't die at all.
Well, New York just looked
That's a scary man.
felt like they were under a whole lot of pressure.
Okay, Pines McCree. Mistakes on the Sombra. I'm... Okay. Okay. So, the issue I have with this is you are facing NYXL on Ilios on either Lighthouse or Well. They are playing Pine. What hero is Pine playing? The answer is McCree. The hardest counter in the game to Sombra is McCree. Well, unless it's a drinking contest, apparently. But Sombra's like a cyborg anyway, so who knows? She could, like, filter it out somehow. I mean, so is McCree, technically. I mean, so is half of the Overwatch cast, but...
Well, this is the point where you need to adapt if you're Boston, right? And we talked about how that Sombra Tracer could become more prominent for these guys.
I'm curious to see how this goes. I've been thoroughly whelmed with Sombra, I think, in the Overwatch League.
Boston contesting a little bit.
Not really underwhelmed, not really overwhelmed, just whelmed. She's performing about as I expected her to, which is that she tends to show up on maps, she'll occasionally do something cool, but mostly just ends up dying and not really doing much of anything. She is the definition of the whelmingest hero.
Boston take it, but New York trying to grind it back. Animo gets the res onto Jonak anyway. Pine run over, though. That's going to cause the DMAC, though, eventually from Node. And New York's going to come out ahead in the end. Should be able
Oh look, they can't kill New York's tanks. I wonder why. Is it because they have two... Well, they have one DPS especially that can't really kill tanks very well? Actually, like, let's talk about the Sombra change, because there's an interesting thing I want to bring up, which is... Altering could from Shanghai could be banned. He yelled "Try hard 14" in voice chat. If he yelled "Try hard 14" while being on voice chat, then whatever. And I think I know, what he's referring to with that, but that's just poor taste. Not really, like, on XQC stream, not really bannable. Maybe his team should give him a slap on the wrist for that, but yeah. It's just a combination of shitty memes, basically. Anyway, so one of the interesting changes with the Sombra change is that usually before you would see Sombra get picked up by, like, the flex support. So, like, one of the supports would generally pick up the Sombra, right? Sometimes you'd see her run in the DPS capacity, but usually it'll be a support. And part of the reason why is because Sombra's DPS, like, before it was even worse, now it's still kind of iffy. But you generally still had like 2 full-blown DPS contributing as well. You had Sombra as like a off healer almost, and adding to the DPS, and then you would go from there. Losing a chunky form of DPS though, I think just really hurts the team overall. Like, and I know that like hack is super oppressive, but I've kind of always held that, you know, Sombra should just have more kill power. Like, in my mind, so here's the thing. Here's the funniest part with Sombra, actually. This is, like, the funniest fucking thing in the world when you think about it. Blizzard are... So, there is a common fear, right, of... I stopped understanding English then. I forgot how to spell the word stealth. Stealth. It's a huge concept in FPS games. Oh my god, stealth. And when Sombra first came out, everyone was like, oh my god, it's stealth. You gotta be so careful with stealth. It's so scary, stealth, that she just appears and kills you instantly. It's like TF2 Spy all over again. Oh no, not stealth. And so, Blizzard, in their wisdom, made it so that Sombra wasn't really powerful on her own. Like, Sombra could finish weakened targets off, kind of, and she provided this support role, and she did all this other stuff. But it's like, the stealth was never really a big factor. And they made the stealth really bad because, you know, she pops up, she goes, like, been here all along, haha, yeah. And it's like, oh, you know exactly where she is. Like, no problem. It's like, not even a quiet, you know, it's not like Spy who goes, like, whoo, and then stab someone. You hear someone go, ah, and then he's gone. It's no, been here all along, ah, brrr, and it's like, okay, that's where Sombra is. No problem. So in the fear of the stealth, they've gone another route. They added hacking. Right? They added the hack. Now then, I would argue that hack is more annoying than stealth. Right? Am I insane in thinking that hacking is more irritating than stealth? That having all your abilities disabled for several seconds on like a half-second reaction time is slightly frustrating. It's slightly frustrating, and so they keep leaning Sombra towards the hack, right? They push and push and push and push, and it's like, okay, well, we made the hack really strong, we've increased the DPS a little bit, and we made it so that she can always see health bars and stuff, but we really bumped up the hack's power. And so we're going to see how that goes. And so if Sombra doesn't become viable as a result, then they could bump up the DPS slightly, but then it's still going to be like mostly about the hack. Like, Sombra's hack is the key element. And I get that that's the sort of the iconic thing with Sombra, the what people will call like the player fantasy, is that, you know, you play Sombra, it's like you turn up and you go boop, 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 and then they're disabled. It's like, yeah, thank you, Q Lightwing as well, beautiful, 7 months, give that man his 7 home hypes. Anyway, so you turn up and you go boop, 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 and then boom, like the Reinhardt's disabled, yeah, outplayed, ha ha ha, I'm Sombra, the dance, puppets on a string. But the reality is that's very frustrating, right? It's not fun for the Reinhardt. It's sort of satisfying for the Sombra, but it's not like hugely satisfying. It's And so I think they just need to like push the power away, like not away from the hack, but just more towards just being a DPS and like get it working as a DPS unit first. Popping up, going brrr, killing someone, vanishing. Ha! I'm swift and smooth, and then, you know, occasionally boop 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 boop, and you do all the hacking stuff, and like that's good. Do you think that Brigitte will almost explode into the Overwatch League in the matches, kind of like when Moira, when she first came out? Actually, Moira was actually pretty quiet when she first came out. Although that was, I think Moira popped in the height of the Mercy hysteria, so it's like no one wanted to play that anyway. This is a team fight with like a big EMP in it, and still not really hugely decisive. Also, I've completely lost the thread of this fight now after talking about Sombra for ages. I don't think Brigitte will explode onto the Overwatch League, because I think the Overwatch League players are mostly concerned about scrimming in matches where they play the heroes that they can play. So they're not practicing Brigitte a huge amount at the moment, and not thinking about Brigitte much. I think it'll be a slow introduction. I mean, reading the Overwatch League teams are screening with Brigitte as the off-tank, interesting. Like, if they are, then they are. And some teams will be, but, like, most teams I think are still going to be focused on, you know, let's finish stage 3 up first, boys. Okay. It's a good hack. dead tank. Usually how that will go. I don't know if you guys have played Reaper recently, by the way, but he is insane. It's so fun. As someone who likes playing Reaper. Boston, like, have to win this fight because they've thrown everything at it. So Boston, like, forced NYXL off it. NYXL don't have the DPS in position to actually cover the point. I'm less keen on Pine being on that high ground against Sombra Tracer, just because Sombra Tracer isn't going to... Like, Sombra Tracer is just going to appear. Like, they're not going to just run in. They're just going to, like, go pop, and they're there. So, yeah. Also, Meko being out of mech here is huge. It's huge.
Yeah, the really big thing for mistakes there was the hack onto Meko, followed up by the EMP onto both of the New York DPS. Right. So he was the big difference maker for the Uprising in that fight.
But let me put it this way, if Brigitte makes it into comp in her current state, I would be a little bit surprised. I want to see her changed. Like, and it's not so much in terms of, like, let me qualify that, because people are going, oh, well, what would you nerf about her then? It's not that I want her necessarily nerfed, it's that I want her changed. Because she is just boring. I find her extremely boring. And this shouldn't surprise anyone who kind of knows how I play and knows, like, the kind of things I enjoy. I enjoy playing Widowmaker a lot. I enjoy playing Tracer a lot. I enjoy these heroes that, like, you can outplay people. And with Brigitte, it's just like you press right mouse button, you press E, shift, left click. Oh, sorry, it's right click, shift, E, left click, and it's like, oh, someone's deleted. And if you miss, then you just hold right click and you're fine. And it's like, okay. And you might think, well, just like flashbang around the barrier and then kill her. Well, no, that doesn't actually work because she's on full hit points. And she has no reason kind of not to be on full hit points. The issue I have with Brigitte is she just doesn't feel satisfying to play, and like I find nothing satisfying about her. And you might say, well, you play a lot of Moira. Like, how do you explain that? The thing with Moira is she's like very positioning oriented, and like with Moira, it feels like, you know, I can like go, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send this orb in here, and then I'm going to make sure I have an orb available for when the fight begins. So if I send this out now at the right angle, I can do some damage. Okay, building up my coalescence, good to go. And it's like there's a planning element to it of like structuring how I'm doing things with Moira that I enjoy. I enjoy like the macroscopic planning that Moira kind of forces you to do about how you're dividing up your resources. With Brigitte, there's kind of none of that. There's just like, I need to hit something with my whip shot every time it's off cooldown, and that way I'm healing, and then like throw heal packs at stuff, and then left click when stuff is near me, and right click the moment I'm in trouble. And it's like, bleh, and I don't find it exciting. And like I've never come out of a fight with a Brigitte and gone, man, that was exciting, that was so fun. It's either they messed up or like I've managed to just burst them down before they've done something. And so it's like, she doesn't add in like an interesting new dimension to the game. She just shits very, like, Blizzard thought about, okay, well, how do we stop Genji and Tracer? And how do we control Genji and Tracer? And the result is they came up with Brigitte, who can like one-shot Tracer and stop Genji in like every conceivable situation. And it's like, it's just like, let's just come up with a counter for these heroes and then hope that works. But the result is a hero that isn't really that interesting to play. This is, oh my god, Mano. Jesus, Mano. And one thing during that, well, two things during that. A, mistakes EMP'd, no avail. B, Boston reset very quickly, very good. Like, they can come into this with 2 support ultimates, take the point right back and be okay. Swapping the effects of Bash and Whip Shot, that could be interesting, yes. But no, they can't get in. Woo! Body blocked. Lol. 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 Okay. NYXL win on Ilios. Stop the presses. See, this is where I wish they had statistics on the goddamn Overwatch League website. I want to see what is the win rate without having to manually go through every single game on goddamn Ilios. Shield Bash should have a 10-second cooldown. Shield Bash should have a longer cooldown. It is a very powerful ability, done with complete safety and no punishment on it.
Blizzard talked to his team that is New York, and he said, obviously going into altitude knows that and made it close on Numbani. They did while keeping the stage. Let's see if they can tie up their.
Hello, Zoe. Thank you, Zoe. You'd have range skill shot stun. Something very similar to, but then whip shot just makes it like a bad hook on half the cooldown. Don't like a support with like Brigitte's kit is so good. It's so good for peel. It completely shuts down stuff diving your support line. Like when Brigitte's around, you really have to be careful about diving support. So like any combination of her abilities is powerful.
They're very good at getting the halt hook combinations and making.
Also, don't fall into the trap of comparing abilities like in isolation. Like directly comparing, you know, let's say the whip shot does get the stun component on it rather than knockback. Don't compare that dryly just with Roadhog's hook, because functionally they do two very different things. Like it's a fairer comparison is Lucio's boop. Boston has a 73% win rate on Ilios, NYXL 82%. Interesting. I'm guessing Boston's wins usually come, losses rather usually come to NYXL. Out of curiosity, where did you find that statistic? Let's see if there is a website with them out there somewhere. I would like to see it. Okay. Fun fact about Korean teams is they tend not to run pirate ships. Sushi's boop on the end of hook? Yeah. It's very functionally similar. It's on Overdot? Okay. Over.gg. Over.gg. Yes, this website. Yes. Talk about teams. Hey. Matches. History. Events. I'll look through it later. Right. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. So, people have been moving away from the pirate ship, although it still seems to work, so whatever. It's just that I think, I almost suspect there's like a pride element to it, of like, oh, we don't want to play that shit. But yeah. We are back with the Widow duel, although this time it's Sabi Olby going up against Mistakes.
Here on Junkertown as Boston goes on the attack, a map they must win to stay alive in the series and try to force that tiebreaker map 5.
Falling back will be the New York.
Let's have a look.
Right to the
Otherwise, like nothing too surprising about the team comps. That's a good start, but there should be a res. There's the res. This is usually where the first fight begins. Hook combo, we don't get to see it. Kill feed is all I need. Lol. Come on, like, this gives me the bluest of balls. That gives me bluer balls than like the pictures of Widowmaker I've seen on the internet. Come on, it's just like, please, I just want to see the end result of this hook. Like, come on. Oh, what a time. What a time. Looks like they got the Roadhog. Didn't manage to finish it off, though.
He'll be sneaking back there, and yeah, Striker was ready for him. He knew that Widowmaker would be coming around the corner.
Doesn't matter where the Widow is. Hook now onto Note. He doesn't. Oh, barely.
It's sneaky rat.
Yeah, that works.
Missed the combo.
Bit of aggression comes in as well from Striker. Echo, oh, the hook. What a connect, but Mega down.
Boston Uprising, like this, NYXL's positioning seems very scrambly. Like, I don't know why Meko's that far out. Does he get blown out?
Yeah, that works. Oh.
Like, Meko really leaves himself vulnerable here. He just sort of runs all the way out into the open, and now he's... You notice now he has to, like, run back across this kind of no man's land and just ends up dead. You gotta remember, one of the fun things about Roadhog's hook, remember, you stun yourself at the same time. Okay, OneAmongstMany, yes. I too have browsed the internet. It's actually a great So sometimes, you know, people do stuff like make spoof Facebook pages and stuff, and there's a brilliant one for Overwatch involving like all the stuff talking with each other, and it's like, you know, Widowmaker makes some snarky post, and then Tracer like responds to it, and it's like Widowmaker makes a snarky post about how much lewd content there is about Tracer out there and how quickly it spawns, and then it's like Tracer just replies to it. It's like, at least I don't have a massive dick in all of them. Oh, lol. Ball and chain combo, not going to land. The internet's a funny place, guys. Okay. NYXL have done a good job like continuing to hold this. Boston going to use the bongo aggressively to try and push around the corner. That's a bad hook to miss. Doesn't look like it matters. Mistakes gets a kill on Jonak with the ult, but Ark's going to get the res. Report this Widow. Tran gets used defensively. Riptide needs to be big. Striker stops it. Oh, Libero with the count. Libero just went and hunted. What? What? Libero? Why are you there? Why are you there? What a place. What a place. Lol. Libero, hello. So then triple tank out of Boston Uprising working out quite nicely. Like the mono support is ridiculously interesting. And like this is the advantage it gives you. Like part of it is with this map and like how this map plays. When you're dealing with a team comp of like Arisa Hog, Widowmaker, Jonak, and Junkrat, all of this stuff one-shots you. All of this stuff just like blows you up straight away. So having multiple healers is only really going to be a big deal for Gamsu, for Note, more than anything. Striker and Mistakes will both just die instantly the moment someone can hit them. Calyx is going to die instantly the moment someone can hit them. Neko can kind of look after themselves. So having the triple tank is just really, really, really strong. And it's kind of what wins out this fight. Because you end up in this insane situation where the DPS all kind of ends up dead. So if we go forward, go forward, go forward. So you end up in this situation where like all the DPS end up dying, and then it's just like tanks fighting tanks, but one team has more tanks and doing more damage, and tanks are usually very good at killing tanks. So it all kind of works out. Like they go aggressive with the trance, and you think, oh hey, the Transcendence comes out. This is their chance, and then you have this mess, this hot mess in the back line. Lol. Microsoft account problem. Lol. Then you just see like on the point, it's just like tanks everywhere, and Mistakes just putting bullets down range from a distance. And it's like, or you can have all the supports in the world, but hey, if you've got to shift 3 tanks off the point, it's not going to help. Okay. Aggressive positioning, but hey, Sabiolbi gets himself a quick pick. Mistakes going in with the visor this time, not going to fall for it twice. This is where the Widow can have a bit of a tough time. Hook 2.0, lol. This is a nice position for Neko. Like this is actually going really well for Boston. Because the thing with getting up, getting the Roto up here is it makes it very difficult for. Basically, if you consider this point, like the scary thing here is Libero, because there's only one good flank on this point, which is dropping down from back here, and then you can come in from behind. And by having the Roadhog up here, if the Roadhog can take control of this space, then it forces Libero here, so it means all your threats are in front of you. So you know where everything is coming from. That means that Arisa's very strong, means Widowmaker's very strong, because she's not worrying about stuff coming in behind her. So it's a very, very sort of important thing happening. Beauty of a hook. Forces trance.
just trying to keep his team alive until Art gets
Meko in a lot of trouble as well. Again, good use of the Diva Bomb.
Self-destruct. So now
to work out.
Weird miss.
Boston
But hey, kill's coming through anyway.
in spite of that time you referred to, where New York
And YXL look uncomfortable.
they weren't really able to stop the payload at all, principally because Stryker got a kill onto Arc, and that pick really quickly snowballed into having to use a Transcendence on the point itself and stall out with those.
So this is normally when we're going to see some changes. The Junkrat, like, offensively, can still kind of work.
May switch off after his next death into
But we generally see some Winstons coming out here. Mobility is more important, and it's a bigger, open, more like round space, so you can flank a lot easier.
Definitely quite good on point C here.
Generally see some change-ups.
To that rip tire. You know, we know what that
You can, of course, just try and dump the Junkrat on the fidget spinner and rain death from above. The Widowmaker can also kind of vanish here as well. Sightlines are long, but
Welcome
again,
to
it's very
Overwatch,
rotational.
silly.
Hey, reverse 645. Welcome. So why do many pro chasers play Widow? Aren't they quite different in playstyle? They have enough time to practice both. It's just generally like having people able to bring out Widowmaker is going to be a big deal. Accuracy is accuracy at the end of the day as well.
composition. Save you'll be now.
And these are pro FPS players. Like they want to shoot things well.
Actually gonna post too far forward though.
Note super low. He gets D-Mac right off the bat. That was
Interesting to see Boston sticking with his team comp. Wow.
New York. Gamsu taking
Pull.
damage as well.
This is the right. This is the frustrating part of playing Widow, by the way, on the fidget spinner. Right? It's like, oh, they're coming. Okay. I've got no. I can shoot them. Oh, wait, no. This thing is now blocking my line of sight. Oh, I've been cucked by terrain. Feels bad, man.
Falling back. Transcendence comes in. They're gonna get aggressive.
Yep. Trance. MYXL need to convert this.
The rip tire gets the kill on Libero.
Striker don't give no hex. This is the problem with that Widowmaker. So this is what I was mentioning with Widowmaker being a little bit weak on this point. Is because you can do like long flanks. You can see the Roadhog like clambers up the side here, and then you end up with a Widowmaker getting flanked by Roadhog. Lol.
So Boston putting together a huge fight here. And Art kind of finds
Some witchcraft is afoot. I swear I did nothing. If you didn't mean to sub, then oh no, it's Akatu. It's alright, Akatu. I'm never gonna say your name right. Sounds like Aga do.
Mistakes which he will do.
It's your knuckle shake a tree. Aga do. It's a very British thing. I don't think that translates. Sorry. Anyway.
back away though. I think that Valkyrie from Arc was worth it.
Yep. It's weird to me that Boston are sticking on this comp.
We're able to finish off mistakes.
I don't like this comp, basically. Like, the time for mono support triple tank is gone. Yeah, there we go. Neko swapping. Can we ditch the Orisa? I know Gamsu has a bongo, but it's...
Push back nearly to spawn.
like, the Orisa stopped working here.
Mistakes. That's
Please, Gamsu.
going to be a situation where you need to make some changes.
Gamsu, please.
Close to another rip tire though, so you'd think they're going to
Gamsu, for the love of God.
They will. Libero with a rip tire of his own already. They've been getting some good value out of those.
Okay, Mano, what are you doing?
Now they're
He's trying something cute. He just instantly has to jump out.
before they back off.
Don't like it.
Barrier buying some space now, and that's a great kill.
Okay, they've engaged with the bongo.
Position where he can't be
Mano's ended up dead because he was on... Was he still on low hit points? Please still be on low hit points and vindicate my opinion on this positioning. Yes, he's on half hit points. Half hit points, half hit points, half hit points. Dead. You know, have you ever played Hanamura and like you've had your main tank go, guys, I saw XQC do this once where I stand in the ramen shop and I charge back in and I'll kill someone and it'll be awesome. And then what happens is he sort of charges and then everyone shoots him in the back and he dies. That happened. That happened here. Yeah.
buying some space now,
And it's I want to understand, you know, like that's why I do this. I want to understand. I want to understand why this. And it's like the only thing I can think of is like, okay, well, they all drop down, they don't notice him, he pops up behind him, does a bit of tickle damage and jumps out and gets some ult charge. Yeah. Or he dies. You know, worst case scenario, he dies. Look, worst case scenario is about to occur. Best case scenario, you get a little bit of ultimate charge, I guess.
bit more before they back off. So Orisa barrier.
But that's a boosted Widow.
That's a great
She don't give no hex. She gonna blow your head off. It's what Widow does.
Is still there for New York, but they're gonna have to fight that 5v6 for a moment. Mono back now. Sabilby backing away.
That's a big kill.
Gets taken out by the self-destruct.
Jonak might have to use the trance very early.
Ducking in for a little bit of healing, but that payload getting a lot of distance for the
And this is really good for Boston, by the way. Like that's a kind of a nice kill, but Calyx is alive and I think still has res anyway. This positioning for Widow, when you can cover this area, this corridor here, like it's so much harder to get to the Widowmaker now. She can either stand up here, she can stand all the way at the back, she can stand. There's like a ledge where I am, kind of. There's a lot of easy sight lines to just sort of peek all the way down this and just keep the point clear. This is very, very powerful. And this is also where suddenly the Orisa's weakness in all of this space, like all of this area here, the Orisa has this huge weakness of she can't cover the above and behind. She can't cover that stuff. So it's like very easy to get around the barrier with the Orisa. But when you get to this point, when the barrier is just like facing their spawn, that's suddenly Orisa's like, oh my god, this is really powerful now. So it's like this team comp for Boston is going to start really starting to work here. And they shouldn't have been able to get into this position in the first place. Like, Calyx can just ult and go and pick mistakes up if he wants. There it is. And you notice that they're just running out into Widowmaker fire, into Orisa fire. And it's not good. And the fact that SQC actually has quite a large female fanbase scares me. He's a famous and attractive male. Is it shocking? XQC is an attractive dude. And he's quirky. And spontaneous. Lol. It's me being judgmental as an uglier, mature man. Looks like a mop had sex with a chihuahua. Like, okay, guys, as much fun as that is, as amusing as it is, let's not bash people for their appearance. I'd say SQC is a handsomer dude than I am.
They may run Jonak on the Zenyatta. When you have a Zenyatta that outputs as much damage as Jonak does.
Though my self-image or my appearance, let's not go too deep into this. But my self-confidence and my self-image is not the greatest in the world. So hey. Okay. So NYXL, traditionally, we see Korean teams not up for the Bastion comps. Seeing mono support again out of Boston. Double support out of NYXL, because why not?
They're going to fall back eventually, so trap down.
There we go. That looks a bit safer there.
Okay.
They do find the trap.
So I can't deal with the chat calling me attractive. No. Right. Let's go. You're blind, chat. You're dumb. You're foolish. Go away. Okay. NYXL going to be pushing forward. Nothing really happens until the first corner. That's a good start. Oh my god. How does that even happen? How does this even happen? Gamsu. Taking a shot. Healed up. I mean, this is the weakness of mono support, right? Just decimated. So Libero found an angle. Sabiobi found an angle. Both of them did somehow. Mistakes didn't catch that. Oh, almost a dead mercy. Voice adds +10. The voice is kind of all I have going for me, yes, and the intelligence.
They killed Gobsu with the Widow shot and then punished the resurrection as it comes in. Echo still bouncing his
Okay then.
body on the payload, but
That was clean from NYXL. It's not so much that was clean from NYXL. That was just a mess from Boston.
in a little bit of danger as he gets pulled aside by that halt.
Wonder if Blizzard will really let the MVP be decided by Twitter voting. They would not include XQC and Dreamcasper in that. I'm sure plenty of people will meme vote XQC, but it's not even part of the Overwatch League. Dreamcasper, there's no way Blizzard would allow it.
He was just standing in that same spot the whole time. Mostly just a positional error from the New York Excelsior.
I'm pretty sure they have eligibility stuff, and it's just like, yeah, XQC is not going to be a part of that. Don't forget the Neko hat. The Neko hat is astounding. It's actually just over here as well. There it is. Beautiful.
New York going to wrap around and try and split mistakes up.
Okay, what the fuck happened, by the way, while we were looking away and talking about T-Mobile MVPs? That's a good start. Widowmaker kind of does that, although just instant retaliation, but Calyx can actually res that, while Ark cannot res himself. Riptire? Oh! Oh, that is beautiful. Also, I want to point out, slow motion, please. Oh. I want to see this. Striker goes in and just watch, I think it's Jonak's body. Aizen, woo! Oh, nothing else to amuse. Right, okay, there we go. They said a review board will be involved, yeah, there we go. I also want to ask what the value of Hog Orisa is. It seems like easy comp to melt down. So Hog Orisa has like instantaneous kill potential. It's very good when the enemy's coming from a fixed angle. Very good when the sight lines are relatively short. Also very good when you are playing mono support. So like Orisa's actually very good on this map in general. The Hog is just very good. Like you generally want to run, and this is where you'll generally see Hog and Orisa come out together. If you're running one, you kind of want to run the other. They actually combo together extremely well, and that's because of the ball and chain combo. And if you don't know what we mean by ball and chain, you throw out the halt, which is the pull ability, pulls everybody in, and all the Roadhog has to do then is throw the hook at the halt as it gets activated, and that will give you a free hook, basically. And so you can do that past enemy Orisa barriers as well by putting it above. You pull people up, Hog hooks, pulls target in, just like that. Instantaneous kills. Let Zen fly, damn straight. Trance, going to be used to confirm this. Boss and Uprising don't have anything to really equalize it, so they kind of just straight up lose the second this double support comp kicks in. This is why I like that mono support. I'm less keen on the mono support on defense, because if the enemy runs double support on offense, they can just build up support ults. Just win kind of through sheer economy. Like, you aren't going to... You could try. You can kind of make it happen, I guess. You could try and cancel the trance by using a Diva Bomb, but with like a Risa Roadhog as well, it's going to be difficult. Not to mention it's less enticing to walk past a barrier if there's a Hog waiting there for you. Yes, Hog is very good close range pressure. He's also very good on this point as well. Roadhog just transitions very nicely into second point because you can actually send him on the flanks. And so, like, worrying about holding up here, for example, when like a Roadhog can just poke up here, is actually really scary. So like Roadhog's a cool hero. He's one I would like to play more. He's just kind of not in meta at the moment, although maybe with the Diva nerfs. He's definitely a hero I enjoy playing. He's one of those heroes that feels unfair every time you go back and playing. Like, you go and play him. It's like, I'm immortal and I can just instantly kill people. This doesn't feel right. Why? Why did you bring me back here? What the fuck are you doing, Mercy? Get me the fuck out. That's my Widowmaker, apparently. It's just generic Frenchman. Oh, mon dieu, sacré bleu. Get me out of here. Sorry, no. No. I apologize to the nation of France. Actually, no, I don't. Fuck you, France. I love you, really, France, baby. Right. Okay. Boss and Uprising, good opportunity to get something done here. Still running the mono support, though. This Riptire about to come out from Striker has to be good. Has to be good. Luckily, this is, again, a good point for... Like, this is a good map for Junkrat, spoiler alert. Pretty good. And also cancelled all the forward momentum on that Transcendence. So now it's just... It's Valkyrie against Valkyrie. That's fine. Omelette du fromage? The thing is this, it's actually omelette au fromage. Beauty of a bomb from Note. That's going to put an end to this fight, straight up. Come on, please just end the fight already. You're wasting time, New York. Libero is not helping anything at the moment. Remember, guys, in Coaching the Many, I spent ages talking about the concept of the fight. Let's talk about this in concept of the fight. No, no, use my impression of the... Listen, there's enough banter between France and Britain to fill 100 years of warfare. Guess who won that? Anyway. History aside. There's a brilliant post out there of, like, you know, the country balls? You know, the like Poland ball and stuff. There's a brilliant one out there of France and Britain sort of looking back at history and, like, you know, we made each other great by pushing each other so much. Which is, like, really sentimental, but it's quite pleasant. I mean, being fair, we made each other great in terms of, like, colonizing the world, conquering nations with less technology than us, basically enslaving people, and Britain basically hit the technology jackpot. They basically won the technology lottery by starting the Industrial Revolution, and that's how Britain ended up so powerful. Okay, let's talk about this team fight and the concept of the fight. This fight kind of starts with NYXL engaging. Right, they get a pick. Say BLB kills mistakes. Okay, NYXL, time to go. You got Infrasight up, you have a Transcendence. And then suddenly Striker activates this ultimate, and NYXL are currently engaging, so they end up using this. Jonak gets panicked as well. Something spooks Jonak. Like, we can't see what hit him, so we don't know. I'm guessing it might be a snipe. But this Riptire makes it very difficult for NYXL to get anything done with the engage. So fight's ongoing. Fight started at about 2 minutes 40 on the clock. Okay? Striker gets a kill on Jonak. Transcendence not really converted into anything. Valkyrie's now kind of run out on the offense. So now it's kind of equalized. Libero gets a kill. Beautiful. Okay, NYXL can still fight this. They can still try and make this work. Although the longer this goes, the better it is for Boston. Just due to, like, spawn advantage. And they can kind of keep this going. And then this hits. Boom, right? That is a huge ult. I want to see if the barrier breaks first. Nope, it just catches two people. Nice. Beautifully placed. Very, very nicely placed by Note. Given the benefit of the doubt, say that was intentional. Fight is kind of over at this point. Especially once Sabielby's dead as well. Like, Calyx went ahead and just got that kill. By the way, Valkyrie and Mercy, very good at killing Widowmakers. And it's like, Libero's still pissing around. And, like, this is a good 10 seconds off the clock that they could have used. Right? You want that 10 seconds. Only through conflict do we become stronger. Yeah, we Doomfist? Josh's nationalist against France confirmed. I'm British, okay? We're meant to hate the French.
And Striker just getting damage boosted by Calyx on the side here, raining damage down under New York as they try to.
It's what we do. We hate the French and drink tea. Actually, more Brits drink coffee these days. Little known fact. Myself included. Thank you, chat. Thank you for getting good use out of this emote. I'm very proud of you. I edited that myself, so it's good seeing it used. Right. Beautiful start. Rez could come through because it is a Widowmaker kill. There it is. Oh, that's big turnaround. Hey, Wi-Fi guy. Wi-Fi guy 888, welcome. Good use of that Twitch Prime. If you have that Twitch Prime, of course you have a free sub. Don't forget. Shilling.jpg. Okay. This is the power of Jonak and Widowmaker. Like, this is kind of what these heroes do. Where they'll just suddenly kill someone. I mean, this is an interesting approach angle, actually. This shouldn't work. That's actually so... That's... Oof. Okay. This shouldn't work. But Neko fucks up. Because this angle here... Can you imagine? If Neko survives and just uses whole hog, you can't push out of this, right? So that kill is enormous. It's absolutely enormous. And now it's just a case of, oh, let's find the Mercy. Oh, look, there was a big glowy beam. There's the Mercy. We found her. No problem. Dead. Nice. Excuse me. Ugh. I really hope this cough goes away soon. I might be casting some Open Division soon, so when that starts up. So I definitely want it gone by then. Okay, change-ups. This is where team comps should start changing.
Solid hold from Boston, but now here's where it all has to come together if they want to force that map 5. We go into time.
So this is where it gets tricky. This is where Junkertown comes to life.
Welcome to Overwatch, my
Hey,
son.
Clownfighter1. See, every single time you mention Twitch Prime, someone remembers. Oh, I have Twitch Prime. Thank you so much, Clownfighter. It's appreciated. Widowmaker any deathmatch is PogChamp? Yeah, no, that isn't PogChamp. That's thingy Craigasm. It is. I love Widowmaker headshot only. I've been playing a ton of it on my secret account. Ha ha ha. Okay. Good start at the very least. Does Striker just get greedy here? Yeah. Greed, greed, greed! Look at this. Oh, so greedy you could left click already. Did I hear a witch? Did somebody call for a witch? A witch? She has a slight V on the W, doesn't she? Did somebody call for a witch? I like this aggressive positioning out of NYXL with this team comp. You've got to take, like, you've got to try and keep them in spawn. Because again, this team comp stops working the moment the enemy team can get around you. So if you go aggressive and take, like, push you all the way to their spawn, that's good. NYXL should win this fight. They have 2 support ultimates. They're going in using the Valkyrie, using Whole Hog, clearing out the enemy. It's a good start, very good start. Diva 1 goes up and over. Doesn't get anyone. I'm waiting for, like, where's the fuck up? It's a good start. I also want to point out that Doa almost messed up Sabiel and almost said say booby. Let us Sableby, not Sableby. Okay, it happens to everyone. I tease because I love. This is where they. Oh, that's a big tire, but it's a big kill on Neko as well. The tire could be enough here. If Boston can stall long enough and get that Transcendence out, that could be pivotal. NYXL are on a time limit. They have to win. But they're just going to back away. But they can't back away, so everyone's already dead. Oh dear. Spawn distance is making a difference. And there's Neko, there's the ult. That should just end this. You can't kill anymore. Boston Uprising respawn faster, they'll come back and they're all fine. Nice. And yeah. Where's my Desperation Doomfist? I like my Desperation Doomfists. There we go. Boston Uprising, even up the series. Can I rant about Junkertown for like 2 minutes while we wait for the next game? Because I don't think it makes... I think it can make good games. I think it can make exciting to watch games. I don't think it makes games that tell you which team is better. Like, the strats usually involved on it are pretty simplistic and not super interesting. And I think there is more room for teams that are less good to beat teams that are better. That is my continual problem with Junkertown. It is being played at the highest level of gameplay, but it does not differentiate well enough between teams. So, bleh, bleh. Especially like teams that run the Bastion comp, it's just like, pfft. Boy, I sure feel like the high skill team won that one. You know, not necessarily true in this case. I think Boston Uprising played it well, and like I don't want to come across as like, oh, completely marginalizing what Boston Uprising just did, because I think Boston Uprising played it pretty well. But I also think it did come down to a lot of Diva Bomb clipping people, Riptires clipping people. You know, it's stuff like that that seems to be making the difference here, more than just straight up FPS mechanics, mobility, stuff like that. So NYXL are running the sort of the turtle style comp. They're running the bongo bunker basically. Like this is bongo bunker as fuck. Okay, what do we mean by bongo bunker? We mean a team comp where you can just like take control of a tiny portion of the point and then you say, come fight me. Because the enemy team has to run into McCree, Orisa, Roadhog, Jonak, and Junkrat, and Mercy. So even if they do kill someone, they come back, because res is pretty good. So yeah, this is very, very difficult. The vulnerability of this is if mistakes can build up an EMP, then if you EMP the enemy team, you're probably going to hit everyone. But EMP doesn't always translate into killing everyone, so...
This is one of the original strategies that when Oasis was released to play the Sombra here. Of course, that was
It looks to me like there was a lot of poor discipline staying on the point from the pros, and lots of teams let a point flip happen because they weren't paying attention. Am I reading this right, or is the reason they let points flip when they've got control? So pros will, like... It's actually very rare that pros will let a point flip when they actually have control. Sometimes they will C9 and they'll let the point go for no reason. But usually when a C9 happens, the situation's already desperate. What pros will do is they will concede a point once they start losing the fight. If you ever watch StarCraft, you'll know that very rarely you'll see like a StarCraft game end when StarCraft 2's win condition is actually destroy all the buildings that the enemy has, right? That's actually how you win in StarCraft. Very rarely do you see a StarCraft 2 match hit that. Normally there'll be a big fight, and then one person will type GG, and then the game will end. And sometimes, if that player is called Idra, you'll be going, what? What the fuck? Other times, hey, you don't know. Other times you'll know exactly why it's happened. And that's because the player knows that at that point, they can't come back from that. They can't win from that position. So sometimes you'll see it where, half the team is dead, and suddenly the team will just back off and let the point go. Because they know that they just need to regroup for the next one as fast as possible, and wasting time on a fight that they already have lost isn't actually going to benefit them in any way. So that's normally why you'll see that. It's losing the battle to win the war, effectively. So the thing with NYXL's team comp here is they have to get set up in a location. Once they've done that, NYXL are going to struggle. So literally, like I pointed out, all NYXL have to do now, they basically said, so if you haven't seen this before for some reason, all they're going to do is they just have to care about this bit of the point, right? This is all NYXL care about. All of this is actually irrelevant. All of this space on the point is completely irrelevant. Because NYXL know that if they have control of this, if the point is theirs, and Orisa just stands here, in this pink area here, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. The rest of this point doesn't matter. They can't take it if the Orisa stood here. So you don't actually have to give a shit about the rest of the point. So what that means is that if Boston Uprising want to go and fight that, they have to run into it, and they have to run through choke points to try and get there. And try and break this up close. But up close, McCree, Junkrat, Roadhog, Orisa, stuff that's all very good at fighting in close range. And so the difficulty with this team comp is if you dive into it, you can die so quickly to so many things. The weakness of this team comp is if you do lose control, if you do lose some momentum, it will all fall apart very quickly. If one person dies, especially the Junkrat or the Roadhog, it's very then easy to get in and get a bunch of kills very quickly. It's just going to collapse instantly. Kind of like what you saw there. It just, once it goes, it goes. And the biggest issue is that now that they've lost control of the point, it gets very difficult to retake control of the point because the dive is just going to constantly try and undercut you. They're going to constantly try and find, they could just press your Sabielby down. They could just press you down Jonak. They're just looking for these opportunities to get onto these targets. And if they do that, then it's going to be very difficult to sort of re-establish this. It's also it sort of works on the inverse in that you play very well in these small environments, but it makes it possible for Boston rather to just drop one person on the point and contest it and force NYXL to have to come out their shell a little bit, and that doesn't really work. So once you lose a fight with this team comp, it actually can get quite difficult to continue to hold.
New York hasn't even had a chance to use any of their ultimates yet because they've been playing a player down for most of the map, and Boston Uprising is swarming all over their flanks.
So Boston are doing a good job here. Neko is key as well in getting these picks early. He has to get those angles in, has to land the shots. Because he can blow this wide open. But New York are basically saying, come fight us. But, hey, Boston are okay, whatever, fine. I have to link this. Someone did, I saw it on AlphaCast's Twitter, but AlphaCast, lovely Frenchman. The honest trailer. The Sombra accurate trailer. This is a thing of beauty, and this just reminds me so hard. So Sombra's initial reveal trailer. Yeah. just literally, you know, literally that situation. Oh, yep, I've got them all. Oh yes, oh this EMP is gonna be so fucking good. Look how good this is. Look how good this EMP is gonna be. Oh my god, they're all there. My team's engaging. We're good to go. Yes, I've just gone. I want to get the Zen. Oh. 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 Play the rest of it. I'm not gonna play someone else's YouTube video entirely on my stream. You can go find it. In fact, I'll do one better. I'll link to it in chat. There you go. You can go watch it yourselves in your own time. Give that man his views. He made something good. He deserves a view for it. So, remember when we were talking about Sombra earlier, and like I said that I was distinctly whelmed with Sombra? My opinion on Sombra is yet to change. I remain very distinctly whelmed. I've never been so whelmed. So thoroughly whelmed by a single hero in the game. So you can sometimes do cool things, but mostly, yeah, okay, we see the Sombra just get abandoned. You know, in team comms, when you get to listen to team comms and everyone goes, monkey, 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 monkey. All I imagine with MYXL at this point is monkey, 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 monkey. Like, I'm genuinely surprised Gamsu survives this. Like, they kind of just leave Sabiobi out to dry. Just like, yep, fuck you, Sabiobi, you're dead. Let's just forget about the gorilla in the back line. And lose one of our primary DPS. Calyx, oh, finds the Junkrat trap. Junkrat in a lot of trouble though, goes down. Oh look, Gamsu's back. And yeah, it's... Like, losing Sabiobi there was a big deal. They needed to keep him alive. Not doing that is kind of important. So now Boston have a very easy win condition. They just need to make sure that basically Mistakes needs to be alive while Jonex uses Trance. If that situation occurs, beautiful pulse bomb. There's the Transcendence. Mistakes just needs to not die. Neko can activate his Trance anytime he wants. Even a second earlier on the... Ooh! Mistakes jump at the gun a little bit. Actually gets really, really, really hurt for this. So he wants to finish the animation, but just ends up like slashing a moment too early, and then Jonek just like moves backwards. And suddenly Genji sort of stood there going, this is awkward. That said, like they're still getting, like Striker's just killing everyone in the meantime, so hey, that's good. So in my mind, this is New York's just, like, New York stayed on that Arisa comp way too long. Like, I think once you lose the point, you go maybe for one more push, but it feels like they stuck on it for a while. You know, like, you go for one push and you just go super aggressive with the bongo. If you have it, go in as hard as you can and then change. And yeah, you can't let your McCree just die. Like, Sabiobi went after Gamsu, Meko pulled away, and hey, lo and behold, Sabiobi doesn't win that one-on-one. You can beat Winston one-on-one with McCree, but not in like a tiny environment. Same tactic, by the way, Bongo Bunker. We have the whelming Sombra coming in as well. Just found the back line, the dive goes in, Jonek. Oh no! Oh no, he got run over! Oh no! Don't play in traffic, kids. But yeah. Just... I continue to be whelmed, ladies and gents. This is the problem with, like, this is how this comp works. This is how the Bongo Bunker works. You bait the enemy in, you say, hey, come dive us, and then, yeah, okay. So there's the flash. Gets one. Just... Did he just roll into that? I can't see the cooldowns, so that's good. It's like play, and it feels like it's playing faster than it should be. Beep beep. Beep beep.
That's right. Save will be
Oh, Calyx. Oh, Long Johnson. He's in a lot of trouble.
trying to back away. Low health, kept alive though by the breather.
They will flip it.
Helping out. That's right. Save will
To the car, but the double flash. Oh, that was so
So I want to focus on that live footage because... Oh, God, replay at the worst time. Give me that live footage. So, okay, Mistakes gets a very early kill on Arc. That sets them up. So now they're going for the dive. They know that, hey, this isn't there. The Mercy isn't there. Mistakes dodges the flashbang this time. Does make a big difference. And then they can finish off Jonak. Both supports now dead for NYXL. Boston Uprising push in. NYXL back off the point, so they can't continue fighting. Makes sense. Didn't got knocked by Note's mech. Could be correct. It looks like something bounced him. So yeah, it's weird that it counts as a suicide, because that should have been Note's kill then. It's actually kind of a big deal, because it means that Note would get the ult charge if it counts as his kill. So Mistakes has EMP. This is like where NYXL's comp could fall to pieces if Mistakes catches like everyone they need to. The world's slowest horse. Doesn't catch the Zen. Doesn't catch Arc either as well. So both support ults get popped instantaneously. But this means Boston can just back off. Like, Boston are in control of the point here. They could just take the time, burn out these ultimates, and now Neko can activate his trance anytime they want to go in for a real dive. Bit of a trade Reno, but hey, there's the trance. Let's convert this into kills. There's the kills. Not coming in. That's actually res. Meko's the one with the kill. Note gonna cycle his mech. Just still okay for Boston. Like, this is City Center. Just drag this out. That's not okay. You want that Sombra for the stall. Ball and chain. Continuing the stall, though. Like, honestly, Boston, once this fight was even going slightly bad, they just needed to play, yeah, just a stall. It looks like they were doing mostly that. Felt like the Tracer went, I felt like Striker went in a little bit too deep. 84%, got some ults out, got Mano's ult out. Gets Neko a kill, it's still not flipped as well. They've actually brought it back. Holy shit. Zenyatta is a good hero, guys. Mano just steps out a little bit, and then Neko just catches him with a right click. And now they've regrouped. I mean, this is City Center. Like, City Center is a bastard to retake. Let Arisa sprint. She should be able to gallop, you'd think. Okay, Libero touches. Yes. Okay. This could be... Oh. Whew. I think Jonah might have heard the Sombra or seen the Sombra and just instantly went for it. Jonah just gets deleted. And there we go. And you can see how happy Boston are with it. Okay. The thing that frustrated me with that, I think, is like you have your NYXL. You have the best Tracer in the league. And sure, Libero is like really good on Junkrat Farah, stuff like that. And like, this could have gone very differently, I think, if it went to Garden. But why, like, if you're going to play the McCree and you're going to play the Bongo Bunkers, then why not play Pine? And I guess it's because Pine can't Tracer, and they want to have that Tracer available on Garden, but then if you're playing Bongo Bunker, you generally play it on all three comps. So it's like, or on all three maps. So surely, Do you think that the Zen having a movement ability would be a bad idea, or would he be too strong? Yeah, that would make him too strong. Like, Zen's already powerful. Zen's fine being a glass cannon. It seems like a strange tactical decision to me for NYXL not to be running, like, you have the best Tracer in the league, and they're running a new lineup somewhat, a DPS lineup somewhat. So, like, exploit that and just run Sabielby at their Tracer and see how Striker reacts, see how Striker handles it, because I don't think he would, to be honest. So yeah.
that has made them one of the top
What's
teams
this?
in the
What's this
Overwatch
chap up
League.
to? He's just in headsets already.
Really make a lot of
Quickly getting in there. He's keen. He's keen to get his work done. And the players get off stage. Makes Zenyatta transparent to match his glass cannon playstyle. Oof.
hit their stride despite losing an
It seems strange to me. In general, like, Boston just played it very well, though. Like, Boston, the thing I liked about Boston is they were playing strats that they clearly have practiced these strats. They clearly know what they're doing. It doesn't feel like they're forcing anything, although I think the Sombra is slightly forced, but I've seen this. Seems very common. Out of all the new DPS introduced into the league, if you're like a new DPS player new in the league, they all seem to have gravitated towards Sombras. They all seem to play Sombra. And in general, it doesn't blow me away. But it feels like NYXL are like trying to force this team lineup here. And I don't think it necessarily plays to their strengths. I really don't. Boston do not seem to misdream Casper in the lineup. No, they don't. Mistakes, like, we knew going... Like, people who knew who Mistakes was know that he's very, very good. So, like, Mistakes coming in and performing isn't too surprising. It's performing as well as he is. The issue with Mistakes is that, you know, there might be a bit of a language barrier. There might be language issues because he is Russian. I believe he's Russian. He might be... I think he's Russian. I want to confirm that just in case, because these Russians are tricky, because sometimes they're not Russian. I'm 90% sure he's Russian, though. Yes, he is Russian. Sometimes they're Serbian, or, you know, Georgian or something, and it's like, oh. Yeah, it's... Bruh. Right. NYXL not looking as sharp as everyone else, and this seems to be the trend at the moment, right? That the Korean teams are mortal, right? They can be beaten, they can be beaten, they can be wounded. I mean, the standings are still like relatively clear, but you know, no one was expecting this going into Stage 3. That Boston Uprising, Valiant, and the Gladiators would be like the ones on top now. To qualify that statement, I think, because it's only 2 weeks, like Valiant, in theory, like this shouldn't have been a 4-0. What the hell is this? This should not have happened. And then it's like, okay, Shanghai Dragons take you 3-4-0. Shock, okay, low power team. Fuel, low power team. Okay, Valiant have had an easy run of it. Gladiators take you 3-4-0. Oh, Seoul Dynasty, hey, like that's a big game. Shock, they lose to Shock, so hey, Shock punched back a little bit. And where are you, Glads? Dallas Fuel as well. So, like, that makes sense. But Boston Uprising had to play Fusion. That's a big team. Like, Fusion are playing extremely well. Boston Uprising. NYXL. I've missed one as well. Florida Mayhem, kind of on an uptick at the moment. Houston Outlaws, that they 4-0. Like, what the hell? What the hell? Man. So, Boston Uprising, doing well. This breaks my goddamn heart. Come on, London. Come on. Put it together, London. You don't want to be slumming it down here. You're beneath Dallas Fuel, for pity's sake. Could we do a Soul game sometime? Yes, we could. Might do one next week. It depends. It depends on what maps are interesting, what matches are interesting. Soul breaks my little heart, though. They really should be better. All right, guys. That'll do it for tonight, then. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for being a part of the stream. Went through that relatively quickly, relatively painlessly, but interesting series. Like, very interesting series. Interesting to me that there's still like 30 minutes of content on the back of this as well that is unnecessary. Shanghai will be number 1 next season. I admire your optimism. Unless if they buy a new roster, then maybe. I doubt it. I somehow doubt it. Alright guys, thank you for watching. I'm going to pass you guys over to someone else. Is Fraggy still streaming? Because I would be very much down with hosting Fraggy. Because he's a cool lad. He's a good dude. He's a rude dude, but he's a good dude. The interview was cool. I hope so. What do we got? What do we got? Hey, Mendo's streaming as well. Yeah, Fraggy is streaming. Alright, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you to everyone who contributed as well. Very quickly. Those of you who subbed and such. Clamfighter1. Wi-Fi Guy. Clamfighter, did I not shout you out? I can't remember. I think I did. Akatu with the Gifteroni, Q Lightwing, Damasus with the 15 Australian dollars, I think that is. Interesting. Which is apparently, I think, £8.18. Pence? Clearly lived in Europe too long. Rumple Dumple with the 10 months. Dominingox with the 14 months only. Optic Scrungus with the fresh sub. And Damasus with the sub as well. Thank you so much, guys. And I'll see you tomorrow for some Overwatch gameplay. Where we'll play some Overwatch. And I'll try not to tilt, because I keep tilting. And I think I did okay on Monday. Not Monday, Thursday. I think I did okay on Thursday. It's Monday tomorrow. So my Monday's a Thursday. Don't overthink it. But yeah, good times. Right, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye! Where's my outro? There it is.